What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 7SS 151 Battle of Allies. Please subscribe. Cleaned out. Both Shoto Todoroki and Bakugo Katsuki didn't react too much, but Anzhe didn't give them time to continue to be distracted. He stomped heavily on the ground, and rushed towards the two of them like an arrow. Behind him, the magic circle of the ice-shaped lancers is rapidly drawing into shape. The spectators were so dazzled that even the contestants couldn't escape, watching the magic circle form one stroke at a time, unable to extricate themselves. Even Shoto Todoroki and Bakugo Katsuki were drawn to look at the magic circle seriously, completely forgetting that it was a battle. Hey, you're distracted. Although Anzhe's voice was not loud, it sounded like thunder in their ears and woke them up. Yes, they are fighting. They are fighting with Anzhe, a professional hero. How can they be distracted? This is simply fatal. Both Shoto Todoroki and Bakugo Katsuki reacted quickly, and each made a response, dealing with the lancers and Anzhe who had rushed in front of them. Anzhe smiled, and suddenly retreated, blocking the lancers who were shooting from behind. Bakugo Katsuki and Shoto Todoroki thought it was Anzhe who couldn't get over it and wanted to kill himself. But when Anzhe shifted his body and got out of the way, they realized that it wasn't just lancers. There is also a highly concentrated brontosaurus. They cursed and immediately avoided it. But when Anzhe blocked his sight with his body and got out of the way, they were not far away. No matter how they evaded, they couldn't avoid Anzhe's attack. After all, Anzhe played pretty dirty. But so what if it's dirty, as long as it wins? This is a demonstration, and it can be regarded as a guide. Anzhe is demonstrating how to kill opponents in battle sometimes. If it weren't for Anzhe stepping out of the way a little further away, giving them room to evade, in fact, they would have been taken away. Shoto Todoroki and Bakugo Katsuki are fighting independently and have no plans to join forces. Shoto Todoroki still uses semi-cold quirks, not willing to use semi-burning quirks. Bakugo Katsuki has nothing to say, he only has fire, and the only thing he can play with is fire. Of course, he plays pretty well with fire. Seeing this, Anzhe was not polite, and raised his hand to see the silver world shaped by ice. Style of ice. Isos the spring. Taking advantage of Bakugo Katsuki's false gap, Anzhe directly frozen him, leaving only one Shoto Todoroki. Shoto Todoroki looked at Anzhe vigilantly. I blocked the route with my body just now, but in fact, if you want, you can take us away. It is indeed possible, but are you sure you want to be taken away by me? This is just a discussion, there is no need to involve life and death. Anzhe said meaninglessly. He really didn't have any more meaning, he just wanted to guide them, after all, he had experienced more battles. That's what the teacher meant. We have never thought that we can play like this. We have always fought in an open and above-board manner, and basically no one will hide it. Shoto Todoroki said helplessly. It is precisely because of this that the two of them were put together by Anzhe. Anzhe responded with a smile. It seems that you think that I am not upright or upright. In that case, look behind you. Anzhe stood there calmly. If you don't look back, this show can be declared over. Hearing this, Shoto Todoroki rushed forward suddenly, using advance as retreat. However, a little blue light magnified in front of his eyes and bombarded him fiercely. Shoto Todoroki was repulsed, and was picked up by another attack. 0. Seeking flowers. Then, Anzhe regarded him as a ball, was knocked back in the sky, and was bombarded back, he never came down. Shoto Todoroki tried to fight back, but Anzhe pinched them all, and saw that he was about to fall, and then picked him up into the sky. Thunder Dragon Fang Tianji was used by Anzhe to challenge Shoto Todoroki to the sky, and then used various magic to play with the ball, and the picture was inexplicably joyful. Laymen may not be able to see the way, but some people are terrified. This hides Anzhe's powerful control and precision. With so much magic on Shoto Todoroki, and Shoto Todoroki was not injured, not everyone has this kind of control. Also, Anzhe didn't allow Shoto Todoroki to make an effective defense. Except for the sneak attack that was not a gentleman at the beginning, the strength Anzhe showed was frightening. Effective defense, none. This data seems to be nothing, but when you think about it carefully and compare it with the picture, it is a data that will make people despair. An effective defense of 0 means that he has not once withstood Anzhe's attack. If Anzhe wanted to take his life, Shoto Todoroki would have died countless times. So this is a statistic that will make people despair. Over there, Bakugo Katsuki broke out of the ice, just about to do something, save Shoto Todoroki first, and then he was imprisoned by Anzhe's unreasonable ice debt. Of course, this is because there is a gap in their strength, otherwise Anzhe would not be able to imprison them 100%. However, this is still quite powerful. How should this be played? Everyone in the auditorium became nervous, looking at the one-sided situation in the arena. 152 Guidance. Please subscribe. 21. Guidance. Anzhe suddenly stopped kicking and dropped Shoto Todoroki from the sky. Can you continue to fight? Of course, you can. Shoto Todoroki was aching all over his body, but he still said firmly. Anzhe smiled strangely. It's good that you can continue to fight. If you lose your fighting power like this, it will be a lot less fun, won't it? Shoto Todoroki somehow felt something was wrong. What's going on? Forget it. Let's take it one step at a time. He doesn't know how to read minds, and he can't read what Anzhe wants to do next, so he can only wait for him to make a move and he will take it. If you can't pick up 073, that's fine, just count Shoto Todoroki as unlucky. Of course, maybe Bakugo Katsuki was unlucky. What the hell are you trying to do? Bakugo Katsuki managed to break through the ice. He watched Shoto Todoroki in the ice being played by Anzhe like a ball in the palm of his hand. To be honest, he was very aggrieved. Because he can't break through that damned ice. If he can break through, how can Anzhe deal with Shoto Todoroki so easily? In the end, it's all because of his lack of strength. Everything in the world is dimmed in Bakugo Katsuki's eyes, only Anzhe, as if being highlighted, exists in Bakugo Katsuki's eyes. Bakugo Katsuki's eyes are filled with flames and fighting spirit. Maybe in a fight with Anzhe, he won't be the one who wins, but happily, he is right. So, next, he needs to have a hearty fight to experience a higher level of fighting. Shoto Todoroki was played by Anzhe for a long time, and when he came down, he almost fell on his back, unable to turn over like a turtle. Seeing Bakugo Katsuki's fighting spirit, to be honest, he was also infected. Soon, a guest stood by. Anzhe stood in the middle, Bakugo Katsuki and Shoto Todoroki one behind the other, staring at Anzhe. This is not what a gentleman does. Anzhe doesn't care what a gentleman does. It doesn't matter whether the cat is black or white, as long as it catches mice, it is a good cat. At this time, it is just to make the atmosphere easier. Otherwise, the atmosphere on the field will be extremely tense and serious by Shoto Todoroki and Bakugo Katsuki. Playing 1 against 2, Anzhe consumed a lot of energy. After all, it was Lin Chan, which had caused many people to get off the field before. Bakugo Katsuki and Shoto Todoroki both recovered for a while. Although the amount of recovery may not be too much, but the two people add up, this variable can be too much. Anzhe was actually feeling tired. After all, as long as he fights, there is no low consumption. Not to mention breaking the defense formed by the team of a dozen people. In fact, their strength levels were almost the same, and the quantity caused a qualitative change. He almost used his own strength to break the defenses of 2 opponents who were almost the same as himself. To be honest, it was exhausting. It's really tiring. None of the 3 of them acted rashly, but first observed each other and observed each other's expressions. Anzhe is more troublesome. After all, Bakugo Katsuki and Shoto Todoroki have the same goal. As long as the rules of this so-called sideshow do not change, they will not be hostile. After all, he is the big boss, and their goal must be to kill him. Student Anzhe, do you need to recover and fight again? Bakugo Katsuki licked his lips. I always feel that we are bullying you. Anzhe's consumption is obvious to all. He is also not shy. Okay, since you have said so, then let's recover and fight again. Before the voice fell, he had already sat down and rushed to recover. Sitting is more comfortable, but it is not necessary to restrict what postures can be recovered. Bakugo Katsuki and Shoto Todoroki both sat down as well. They also didn't want to let Anzhe lose for nothing. Their consumption is relatively small, and Anzhe, who is fighting consecutive battles, must be far less labor-intensive than usual. Of course, Anzhe's fighting skills will make him quite difficult as well. Okay, 11. 10 minutes later, all 3 of them stood up, and Anzhe felt a lot more relaxed. Are you sure you want to fight me? Are you afraid that my recovery in 10 minutes will far surpass you? If you're afraid, you won't be able to recover. Isn't it? Shoto Todoroki answered the question first. They don't want to lose without knowing why and not learning anything. Let Anzhe recover. There are many advantages, and the disadvantages are also obvious. I just don't know if Anzhe can understand what they mean. Anzhe didn't talk nonsense. Directly a Lancer, and a Brontosaurus, roar for 0.5 as a starting hand. One rushed to Bakugo Katsuki, and the other rushed to Shoto Todoroki. The 2 of them seemed to have understood his intentions, and made defenses in advance, without rushing to attack. But in the next second, they knew that they were wrong so wrong that they couldn't be more wrong. They should have attacked. Well now, if they can't make an effective defense, they will be swept out. Because of the roar of the Lancers and Brontosaurus, they turned a corner halfway. The Lancers broke through the Thunder Dragon, taking away part of the Thunder attribute, and the Thunder Dragon also forced a few ice guns to turn halfway. 153 Hard fight. Please subscribe. Interesting for you. 6 women who are known for their large body parts. More. 342. 86. 114. Instead of staying, Bakugo Katsuki and Shoto Todoroki made the right choice, and each of them began to retreat sideways, splitting into 2 groups. Thunder Dragon and Lancer Cavalry were chasing the 2 of them. Anzhe stood quietly aside, with his arms around his neck, watching them. Bakugo Katsuki can stop in the air for a short time by using the explosion, and then quickly shoot a big explosion towards the Brontosaurus, which is barely paired. On the other side, Shoto Todoroki used the ice to slide quickly on the ground to avoid, created icicles to attack the Lancers, and successfully broke through. Anzhe didn't give the 2 of them any time to rest. He flew in the air and threw the Thunder Dragon and the Ice Lancer to the 2 of them on the ground. The magic was like a continuous spring of water. Katsuki, you can fly, I will block his attack, you take the opportunity to surprise from above. Shoto Todoroki suddenly found that if the 2 of them have been dealing with these magic skills, there is no way to attack Anzhe, so one person must resist the attack of 9 people. Good. Bakugo Katsuki would not let go of such a good one-on-one opportunity, and gradually approached Anzhe with his own explosion. Not bad, I already know how to adapt to the situation, but do you think this can deal with me? Anzhe uses her own wings to spin rapidly in the air, attacking Shoto Todoroki on the ground with one hand, and attacking Bakugo Katsuki in the air with the other. Anzhe's attack is very fierce, but it is still a little difficult to resist two people at the same time. Bakugo Katsuki can use this loophole to move to the vicinity of Anzhe with difficulty. Anzhe is not good at melee combat, but Bakugo Katsuki is different. He is good at melee combat. Anzhe has to keep a distance from Bakugo Katsuki while defending. Bakugo Katsuki quickly sent out a big bang, and the big bang exploded near Anzhe. Anzhe made room to defend, so it was not so difficult for Shoto Todoroki here. Shoto Todoroki quickly got rid of the lancers, and then supported Bakugo Katsuki. Shoto Todoroki put his hand on the ground, and immediately a huge iceberg appeared on the ground, directly hitting Anzhe. Bakugo Katsuki cooperated with Shoto Todoroki to produce small explosions one by one. Faced with such a strong attack, Anzhe not only didn't panic, but was very calm. He waved his wings and flew to a higher place. Fly to a place where you can look down on Bakugo Katsuki and Shoto Todoroki, and cast magic on the two of them again. While Bakugo Katsuki and Shoto Todoroki are resisting, they have no time to go to Anzhe. Anzhe retracted his wings and slowly landed on the ground, and then quickly used Brontosaurus and Lancers. It still takes a certain amount of time for Bakugo Katsuki to reach the ground, so at this time, he can deal with Shoto Todoroki with peace of mind. Sweat appeared on Shoto Todoroki's face, and the sweat ran down his hair onto his face, and finally onto his chest. He is now breaking through his limit. Facing such a powerful villains, he unable to admit defeat, he can only go all out to resist. Although Anzhe is a little tired now, it is still enough for him to last till the end. Shoto Todoroki managed to survive Anzhe's men, and Bakugo Katsuki also returned to the battlefield. What the audience watched was thrilling. At the same time, those heroes who were eliminated were also annoyed why they didn't persevere just now. If they persevered, they could continue to fight Anzhe and learn experience. When Bakugo Katsuki and Shoto Todoroki were about to attack again, Anzhe suddenly waved his hands to stop them. Okay, after fighting for so long, aren't you too tired? Even if you are not tired, I am tired too. This is the end of this competition. I believe you two have learned a lot from it. Knowledge. Anzhe walked towards them with a smile, then stopped in front of them, showing a helpless expression, and patted their shoulders with his hand. Shoto Todoroki and Bakugo Katsuki have some regrets and want to continue fighting, but their bodies are also very tired. If they continue to fight, they must be sure. This impromptu performance also ended at 960. Bakugo Katsuki and Shoto Todoroki passed out directly when they came off the field. Their physical strength was so overdrawn on the field that they could no longer support them to continue their actions. In no time the heroes lifted them onto the stand and sent them to the healing heroes. Ah, it seems that it has been a long time since I have had such a pleasant battle. Anzhe looked up at the sky alone, although he was a little tired, but not like the two of them. This competition is over. After listening to the ranking announcement, everyone returned to their dormitory. Anzhe came to visit Shoto Todoroki and Bakugo Katsuki. Shoto Todoroki, congratulations, you won the first place this time. Katsuki, you still have to work hard, but this time the results are not bad, and you won the second place. Anzhe walked in with a smile and helped them announce the rankings. Although this was within their expectations, it still had to go through the motions. 154 internship options. Please subscribe. Although we won, the distance between us and you also made us see clearly that you didn't lose the slightest bit of disadvantage against the two of us alone. Shoto Todoroki did not feel arrogant because he won the first place, but seriously saw the gap between himself and Anzhe. Cut. The second is not the first. Bakugo Katsuki is as irascible as ever, with energy even during his injury. His attitude of not admitting defeat was very good. Anzhe smiled helplessly. By the way, this time should be the time for you to go to Hero S for an internship. You must take advantage of this opportunity and let yourself learn more knowledge. Anzhe suddenly thought of something and told them the news. Anzhe, do you have a suitable candidate in mind? Shoto Todoroki actually didn't want to go to Anzhe's Hero S office for an internship, because he took Anzhe to learn from his opponent, which might not make him make much progress. Bakugo Katsuki sat on the bed curled up with his arms folded, without saying a word, but his erect ears reflected his attitude towards this matter. After this sports festival, I actually already have a suitable candidate in my heart. Don't worry, I won't pick the two of you. After all, Anzhe is someone who has been there before, and he knows everything about what the two of them are thinking, so naturally he will not choose them. Besides, there were not many girls in his office, so he should seize the opportunity this time and choose a few more girls. After hearing this, Shoto Todoroki and Bakugo Katsuki couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. The three of them chatted for a while, and then Anzhe went back. Students, I believe you have also received the news. The annual Hero S firm internship opportunity is about to start. Aizawa Shota stood on the stage like an ice face, announcing the news. Oh, it's great. I can finally go to the Hero S office for an internship. I have been waiting for this opportunity for a long time. As long as I get the Hero S internship certificate, I am only one step away from being a real professional Hero S. Quote. Yeah, it's been a long time since I entered the academy, and I can finally visit the Hero S office. I believe I will learn a lot of useful knowledge. Hey, have you decided which Hero S firm you want to intern at? Of course, from the moment I entered the academy, I decided which Hero S firm I would like to go to. Apparently this topic aroused the interest of the whole class, everyone was talking about it, only Shoto Todoroki and Bakugo Katsuki sat calmly and waited for the teacher to continue talking. Hey, do you think Hero S can let you choose at will? Then you are totally wrong. This time Hero S came to us to choose you, and the basis for them to choose is this sports festival. Aizawa Shota didn't speak at first, just wanted to hear the students' opinions on this internship opportunity, but he didn't expect it to be exactly as he expected, and it was still so simple. Ah, teacher, what if someone is not selected? Shoto Todoroki undoubtedly spoke out for the whole class about a problem that they were very concerned about. If someone is not selected, then this student will not be able to participate in this internship at Hero S. As soon as Aizawa Shota said this, the whole class started to howl, because they had no confidence in themselves, and they didn't even know if any Hero S firm had taken a fancy to them. Wait a minute for the students whose names I have read to come to the stage to receive the name of their Hero S firm. Aizawa Shota put a box on the stage, which contained the name of the Hero S office that each student was going to. Backquote Jiro Kyoka, Yaoyorozu Momo, Ashido Mina, you are going to Anzhe Hero S office. When the name of Aizawa Shota was mentioned, the three girls still felt that they heard it wrong. They thought Anzhe would definitely choose Shoto Todoroki or Bakugo Katsuki, but unexpectedly they chose the three of them. Have their strengths been recognized? Ah, Anzhe chose us. After Ashido Mina heard the name and took the business card down, he was so excited that he died and started cheering. Well, I really didn't think of that. Get money. Yaoyorozu Momo's face was unbelievable, but the strict family education prevented her from cheering loudly, but the joy on her face couldn't be concealed no matter what. Anzhe's strength is obvious to all, so the three of us must not trouble him after we arrive. We must work hard to learn knowledge and make ourselves a better Hero S. The three girls held hands and cheered themselves up silently. Not long after, the internship offices of the whole class were announced. They were very lucky, and everyone got an internship opportunity. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, and let go of their hanging hearts. 155 reports. Please subscribe. This is the end of today's class, everyone is back in the dormitory, hurry up and tidy up, and tomorrow we will take the bus and leave on time. Aizawa Shota clapped his hands, and then announced that the get out of class was over, and everyone immediately gathered together to discuss the next internship life. Seeing this scene, Aizawa Shota shook his head helplessly, because he felt that the students thought too well and completely ignored the difficulties in the internship. Internships are far more difficult than they thought. During this period, they will encounter many unexpected things, which need to be solved by themselves, and no one will help them, so that they can grow. Yaoyorozu won. I'm so excited now, I can't sleep at the thought of going to practice tomorrow. Ashido Mina hugged Yaoyorozu Momo's arm, eyes full of stars with excitement. Yaoyorozu Momo is also excited, but it is still not as good as Ashido Mina. Everyone, go back and pay attention, otherwise we will leave a bad impression on the professional Hero S when we arrive at the office tomorrow, and the 803 will not be worth the loss. Jiro Kyoka advised Ashido Mina to calm down and pay attention, so that he will have a good spirit to deal with the internship tomorrow. The three girls returned to their respective dormitories after separating from the corridor. It was just dawn the next day, and every student got up from the quilt quickly put on their clothes, packed their things, went to the cafeteria to have breakfast, and waited for the arrival of the Yinba army in an orderly manner. I really didn't expect that. All the students came earlier than our teacher. It seems that you are really looking forward to this internship opportunity, but I hope your expectation and enthusiasm can continue. When Aizawa Shota and Hero S arrived, they were taken aback by the students in front of them. They thought they would wait for a long time, but they didn't expect the students to be waiting for them instead. Aizawa Shota had no good words coming out of his mouth, but AJDH, it was the words that gave the students an inexplicable sense of courage and confidence. Ah, after waiting all night, I'm finally leaving. You don't know that I was tossing and turning last night and couldn't fall asleep. I was just thinking about today's internship. As soon as Kaminari Denki sat in the car, he immediately couldn't control the excitement in his body. He stood directly on the car seat and began to tell everyone what happened to him last night. HMPH. What are you doing? Last night I was looking forward to meeting many beautiful professional Hero S today. I didn't fall asleep at all when I thought about my nosebleed last night. Minoru Mineta is also not to be outdone, and it is such an ugly topic when it comes up. Minoru Mineta, do you think everyone is the same as you? I think about those nasty things. Yaoyorozu Momo gave Minoru Mineta a candied chestnut without hesitation, which made Minoru Mineta cry out in pain. Aizawa Shota sat on the front seat and shook his head helplessly. These students are so relaxed. Do you think this internship is for you to go out and have fun? You will encounter many very difficult things during this internship, and you must complete it yourself. Do you think you can do it? As soon as Aizawa Shota spoke, he immediately fell silent. Able, the students really mustered up their courage to say this sentence. Although they are very excited now, they can still tell what they are here for. Aizawa Shota stopped talking, that was different, they couldn't arrange the excitement in their hearts to keep chattering there. Soon the bus arrived at the location, and everyone parted ways from here, and everyone went to their own Hero S office. Is there anyone, please? We're intern Hero S. Yaoyorozu Momo knocked on the door politely, and explained his purpose. Oh, it's you guys, you're very tired, just leave your things at the door, drink some water, and take a rest. After Anzhe heard the movement, she immediately came out to greet them, helped them put their things away, and then poured water for them. Yaoyorozu Momo, Ashido Mina and Jiro Kyoka still have some indescribable nervousness, although they are very familiar with Anzhe, but now it is suddenly different. It doesn't matter, Don't be nervous, just be here with me as usual, as long as you do the things I arranged for you, there will be no other big problems. Anzhe carefully noticed the nervousness of the three girls, and then he spoke to comfort him after organizing the words in his heart. With Anzhe's comfort, the three girls quickly relaxed themselves. Bakugo Katsuki is not ideal here, because Bakugo Katsuki is too violent, so the professional hero wants to help him change his appearance, but unexpectedly it is self-defeating. Bakugo Katsuki almost ran away, but here he has no ability to run away. Unsurprisingly, Shoto Todoroki came to his father's office as an intern, and Shoto Todoroki is slowly accepting his father. Internship at Hero's office has officially kicked off. 156 First day. Please subscribe. Interesting for you. 6 women who are known for their large body parts. More. 524. 131. 175. Anzhe and the three girls sat on the sofa without saying a word, and the scene was a bit awkward. Anzhe laughed a few times, then looked at the time and thought it was time for dinner. You have just arrived here today, so there is nothing to do, and the time is almost up, let's have dinner. Dinner is the curry rice that was prepared before. Does anyone not eat it? If not, here are some other food. Anzhe got up and went to the kitchen to bring out the curry rice, and then asked the three girls very thoughtfully. No, we are not picky eaters. Yaoyorozu Momo saw that Anzhe got up to serve the plate, and immediately wanted to help. Wow, you can smell the aroma here from far away, it seems that today's dinner is very rich. The curry rice is already very good. After washing his hands, Ashido Mina smelled the aroma of curry as soon as he came out, and then rushed to the table at a speed of 100 meters, and then put on a look of wanting to eat. Please put away your saliva, I don't want us to have nothing to eat tonight. Yaoyorozu Momo tapped Ashido Mina's head lightly, her face was very helpless, she didn't mean to blame her, just joking. Well, pretty ladies, if we don't eat supper, it's going to be cold, so let's hurry to eat. 17. Anzhe saw them playing around, and stopped them, because the curry rice would not taste good if it got cold. After dinner, the four briefly explained the room allocation and the tasks to be done tomorrow, and then went to rest separately. Shoto Todoroki here, remember, if you want to become a professional hero, then you will face enormous difficulties. With your current ability, it is simply impossible. You will just die in vain. Therefore, during this period of time, you must be strict with yourself and follow my orders, so that you will become my most suitable successor. Endeavor was now in front of Shoto Todoroki, expressionless, hot flames surrounded him. I will try my best to do what I should do, but I will definitely not be your successor. I have my own life and oil. I want to be the person I want to be. You have no right to interfere with me. Hearing what Endeavor said, Shoto Todoroki clenched his fists. He felt that his future should be decided by himself instead of living under his arrangement all the time. You are my son, if you don't become my successor, whose successor do you want to be? I warn you, I am still your old man, you must obey what I say. Endeavor frowned, clearly not liking how Shoto Todoroki treated him. Shoto Todoroki looked at Endeavor for a while, then got up and left, with Endeavor's fury behind him, he walked straight back to his room. Is this kind of life really what I want? It's really annoying, why do you interfere with my future? Just because I am your son, you want me to be your successor. This is absolutely impossible. Shoto Todoroki buried himself under the quilt and wrapped him tightly, making up his mind in his heart that he must resist Endeavor. The next morning, when Anzhe woke up, Yaoyorozu Momo, Ashido Mina and Jiro Kyoka were all ready to stand in the living room. This made Anzhe very helpless. He thought his attitude was pretty good. Why did the three girls wake up so early? Did he think he was too scary and would punish them? 0. Seeking flowers. Ahem. In fact, you don't have to get up so early, you can sleep a little longer, and the patrol will start after a while. Anzhe walked up to them and told them. We are here to study, we don't want to miss a little opportunity, that's why we get up so early. Jiro Kyoka's voice is very difficult, obviously she is not the only one who thinks this way, the other two people all think this way, their eyes are full of determination. Well, since the three of you all think so, then I don't need to be merciful. Remember that in the next internship life, you will be very tired, work hard, and let me see your last results. Anzhe felt that he had underestimated these three girls, and their beliefs were much stronger than he thought. Yes. The three girls immediately stood up straight and said in unison. After breakfast, Anzhe took them, put on his overalls, and was ready to patrol the streets. We just need to put on our clothes and observe the surrounding movement at any time on the street. If we find something abnormal, we will act immediately to minimize the damage and evacuate the crowd as much as possible. Anzhe walked in the front, passing on his knowledge to the three girls behind from time to time. The three girls took out their small notebooks, ready to write them down at any time. They were just walking on the street, and if anyone saw Anzhe, someone would definitely come to say hello. After seeing Anzhe, Yaoyorozu Momo made up his mind to become such a beloved hero. 157 Fight. Please subscribe. When you are patrolling, you must also establish a good relationship with the surrounding residents. This will help your reputation increase, and you will get good help in general. After all, the power of the masses is still very large. Anzhe greeted someone, and did not forget to popularize knowledge to the three girls behind. Someone is robbing a bank, come on. Come on, help us. Suddenly there was a loud noise, and a man in the shape of a crocodile rushed out of the door, chasing after several bank staff. At a time like this, it's our turn to play. As soon as Anzhe heard the movement, he was fully armed and ready for 013 to start fighting. He asked the three girls to stand aside first, they were still students after all, it would be bad if they were injured, and he went to fight alone. Sir, don't you know that the area near here is under my jurisdiction? How dare you come here to rob? Anzhe flapped his wings and flew into the sky, and quickly stopped the robber. Although what he said was a bit cynical, his ability was obvious to all, so he believed that he was always cheering for him. Even the people in the bank breathed a sigh of relief when they saw him. Who are you? I advise you heroes to leave it alone, or I'll kill you. The robber was obviously in a hurry, and he didn't care about what he did. He took the lead in attacking, and the flames from his mouth directly attacked Anzhe. Anzhe is in danger, we should help him. When Yaoyorozu Momo saw that Anzhe was about to hit the flames, he quickly created a wall and threw it towards Anzhe, and then he was not to be outdone and attacked directly. Oh, it's really disobedient. Anzhe was very helpless when he saw that the divided girls did not stay where they were, but chose to fight to help him. He shrugged and withdrew from the battle, and decided to give this opportunity to the three girls to exercise well. I won't make a move in the future. The three of you have a good discussion about how to catch this robber. Anzhe stood aside and watched the battle carefully. Yaoyorozu Momo, Ashido Mina and Jiro Kyoka were in a cold sweat. They just came to help, but they didn't expect this big order to be thrown directly at them. There is no other way, now I can only bite the bullet and FK the three girls, and the division of labor will be completed soon. Ashido Mina moved quickly to attract the robber's attention, Yaoyorozu Momo made a lot of rope to trap him, and Jiro Kyoka stuck his own earphones on the ground, sending out a lot of sound waves to disturb him. Because the robber is too big, his movement speed is very slow, and the flames he spit out have been burning around. Anzhe wanted to impress them with confidence. So protective measures have already been taken around. The liquid spit out by Ashido Mina has a corrosive effect. The robber was in great pain after sticking to it, and immediately fell to the ground and began to struggle violently, trying to get the liquid off his body. Yaoyorozu Momo put the prepared rope around his body, and then quickly tightened it, but because the robber is in the form of a crocodile, the scales on his body are very hard. There was no way such a rope could trap him. The robber quickly recovered his state, stood up from the ground immediately, and hit Yaoyorozu Momo and Ashido Mina with his huge palm. After Jiro Kyoka saw it, he increased the sound wave and caused the robber's eardrum to be severely injured. Damage. The robber didn't want to endure this huge sound wave and immediately covered his ears with his palm, but the flames in his mouth didn't stop. Yaoyorozu Momo suddenly thought that fire must be afraid of water, so she used greater magic to create a water gun. Ashido Mina, Jiro Kyoka, you guys have to do your best to hold him back, I'm going to find a way to make a water gun now. Yaoyorozu Momo sorted out his thoughts, and after confirming that it was feasible, he immediately sent his thoughts to the other two, and the other two agreed without hesitation, and started the battle plan. It seems that the three girls I picked are really good, and they immediately found the enemy's weakness in a short period of time. Anzhe also came to a lot of conclusions by watching, and he couldn't help but admire the students in this year's class. Time stalling by Ashido Mina and Jiro Kyoka succeeded Yaoyorozu Momo with a giant water pistol. Then the water fell on she, who was released by the robbery, and turned into water vapor. At 15.8, the robbery was independent and lay on the ground without any strength at all. Anzhe came out to clean up the ending at this time. Not bad, you have done a very good job. I believe that in this battle, you have also gained a lot of knowledge. Experience is derived from practice. Anzhe smiled and said to them, but the three girls are exhausted now, but they are still very relieved to see that the fruits of their labor and the people around them have not been injured. After today's task was completed, the four returned to their office. 158 Act alone please subscribe. 6 women who are known for their large body parts. More. 621. 155. 207. Today is the second day since the three girls came to Anzhe's office, and they are still patrolling as usual. Anzhe. There's a gang gathering there up here. Panting heavily, MT. Lady finally found us. Okay, let's go there. Anzhe frowned, then replied to MT. Lady. After MT. Lady got the reply, she left directly, leaving the four of them behind. You came to my office for an internship. Today is your first task. Get there safely and help me find the news. Of course, I will also observe you quietly in the dark. When you can't do it, I will go up and help you. Quote. Anzhe actually wanted to go alone, but he thought that there were these 3 students beside him, so he planned to hand over this event to these 3 students. Ashido Mina and others were very excited. Guaranteed to complete the mission. As soon as the words fell, the 3 girls went to their destination. An O9J flew into the sky with his wings, and followed them closely to prevent any accidents. Jiro Kyoka, use your earphones to poke into this wall and eavesdrop on their messages inside this building. Yaoyorozu Momo can be regarded as the core figure among the 3 of them, and as the main commander of this battle. Good. Jiro Kyoka waved his earphones for a year, and the earphones were inserted along the wall, and the sound waves emitted could be transmitted to every corner of the building, even the slightest sound could be heard. Ashido Mina, you run fast, and your slime is sticky, so you climb up this building and help us investigate the situation inside. Remember, don't start a fight with them, just state the number clearly, just come back. Yaoyorozu Momo turned around and said to Ashido Mina that Ashido Mina was already on the verge of moving when she got the news, and immediately couldn't bear the excitement in her heart, and rushed to FA rectification. Anzhe stood at the highest point, watching their every move. Judging from the current situation, their arrangement is not wrong, it depends on how they will attack next. We must create a big disaster at the airport, and then we can smoothly join the League of Villains. I have long seen that those heroes are not pleasing to the eye. Relying on their own ability and relying on the slogan of justice, they are doing some unknown transactions. After we join the League of Villains, we can kill them with our own hands, and we must make them pay a painful price for everything. Jiro Kyoka told Yaoyorozu Momo everything he heard. There are 4 people on the 2nd floor, 3 people on the 5th floor, a total of 9 people, and none of them should be very capable. Ashido Mina will soon come back to report the situation. Yaoyorozu Momo thought for a while after listening. For a while we pretended to be a pizza delivery person and delivered things in, and then quickly attacked the people on the 2nd floor. Remember, we must be fast, we don't have much time. After Yaoyorozu Momo had an idea, he immediately told the other 2 people. After getting the consent, he found a costume, changed into a costume, bought a pizza, and went up to the 2nd floor. The pizza has arrived. The 3 girls pressed their peaked caps to the lowest level and lowered their voices. Pizza. Who ordered the pizza? The people on the 2nd floor were a little confused because none of them ordered pizza. We invite you to eat. As soon as the words fell, the 3 girls tore off their clothes, revealing their fighters. The people on the 2nd floor panicked and wanted to notify the people on the 5th floor. Not giving them a chance, Jiro Kyoka plugged his earphones into the ground, and the loud sound waves made them unable to move. One of the 4 people on the 2nd floor wanted to resist, but was frightened by Ashido Mina's liquid. Ashido Mina didn't want to hurt their lives, but just spit his liquid on the ground, and the floor tiles on the ground quickly corroded. Yaoyorozu Momo also used his own manufacturing ability to create an electric rope, tied the 4 of them up, and then stunned them 533 through the remote control. Let's do this on the 2nd floor first. We have to deal with the people on the 5th floor. The people on the 5th floor are definitely not easy to deal with. Let's hand over the clothes of these 4 people and let us wear them. Then the 3 of us go upstairs to pretend report the situation and take the opportunity to act. Yaoyorozu Momo quickly took off the clothes of the 4 people who fainted, and gave them to Ashido Mina and Jiro Kyoka. Ashido Mina and Jiro Kyoka were stunned. They thought Yaoyorozu Momo was a lady, and they would never do such a thing. Rude thing, but they were wrong. I really didn't expect it. Since girls dare to do such a thing, I am really impressed. It seems that I get more and more fun from them. Anzhe, who was flying in the sky, rubbed her eyes cutely, thinking that she had misread it, but she never expected that such a grand lady would do such a thing at this time. Yaoyorozu Momo brought Ashido Mina and Jiro Kyoka nervously to the 5th floor. 159 wins. Please subscribe. Interesting for you. The 7 most famous plus-size models in the world. More. 772. 193. 257. Boss. It's not good. Someone is coming to sneak attack. Let's evacuate quickly. We have already lost 1 person. They are downstairs, so it is possible to charge up. Yaoyorozu Momo pretended to be a boy to report the situation with his own voice, and then stumbled to the ground, convincing the 3 people upstairs. I remember that our situation here has not been disclosed. How could someone come to the door? The boss here really has been in the rivers and lakes for many years. This little trick can't stop him at all. He didn't panic at all, and he didn't run away in a hurry, but calmed down and asked calmly. We don't know that. Yaoyorozu Momo is actually a little nervous now, and she can't help but sweat all the time. She is afraid that she will be exposed, because the strength of these 3 people is indeed not low, and they may not be able to arrest them directly by relying on their masters. You are not them at all. The boss of the capital was silent for a while, and then immediately showed his ability. He quickly reacted and started the battle mode. Now that Yaoyorozu Momo, Ashido Mina and Jiro Kyoka have been seen through, there is no need to continue pretending, so they took off their clothes and started fighting with their combat uniforms on their bodies, but their abilities could not resist. The 3 of them had to keep dodging. The strength of the 3 enemies is really too fast. The 3 of them already have some wounds on their bodies. If this continues, they will soon be defeated. When the time comes, life and death will be uncertain. Oh, it's really immoral for you 3 big men to bully 3 little girls. Let me play with you 3. Anzhe saw from watching the battle that the 3 of them might not be able to resist, so he immediately showed his original shape to help them. Where did you come from? I advise you, if you don't want to die, you should leave as soon as possible. I can spare your life. The boss felt Anzhe's terror and wanted to scare Anzhe away. I think even if the 3 of you join hands to beat me, you and Ben can't beat me, so why should I run away? Why don't I just play with you here and abuse you a bit? Anzhe shrugged his shoulders, and then gradually approached the 3 of them. Said calmly, with hands behind his back, the matter. Yaoyorozu Momo and others hurriedly withdrew. Staying here would only cause trouble for him. Yaoyorozu Momo and others left immediately after receiving the signal. Etc. The 3 enemies still wanted to hunt them down, but they were stopped by Anzhe and couldn't leave. Style of ice. Floor. Anzhe said the name of the skill in his mouth, and a large piece of ice immediately formed on the ground, freezing the whole ground. The 3 enemies were unable to move. They struggled violently to break the ice on the ground, but the ice on the ground they were extremely hard. They couldn't break the violent struggle at all. It could only make their legs more painful. One of the enemy can spit fire out of his mouth. He tried to use fire to melt the ice. Although there were some effects, the effect was not obvious. They were still frozen, so they changed their minds and began to attack the flying in the air. Anzhe. The enemy also had a person who could create a thunderball. He threw the thunderball in his hand at Anzhe. Anzhe just dodged lightly, and easily dodged the attack, and then said, showing a mocking expression. The three people in defang were completely enraged. The three of them join hands to attack Anzhe. The thunder ball is wrapped in flames, and coupled with the blessing of the earth vertebrae on the ground, the power is very powerful. Anzhe said the name of magic, and then a huge barrier appeared in front of him, which resisted all these attacks and bounced back. Hit by their own attack, the severe pain made them scream. In the end, they passed out from the pain. Anzhe saw that they fell from the sky without any movement to check their situation. It was just that they had just landed on the ground. The ice finally broke free, and then desperately went to attack Anzhe. You guys are just wasting your efforts like this. Don't you, Zhao Nuos, still see the gap between you and me? The barrier in front of Anzhe helped him resist all the attacks. Anzhe felt a little helpless. Why do these three people always fail to see the reality? He has already won so easily, why would you risk your life to attack him? Are you stupid? Huh, you heroes are all the same, none of them are good. I have witnessed with my own eyes that some of your heroes killed ordinary people, and they still said it was quite just. The boss was knocked to the ground by his own attack, but still refused to surrender in his mouth, and when he talked about the things she had seen before, there was a look of hatred on his face. 160 heroes killer. Please subscribe. Interesting for you. 6 women who are known for their large body parts. More. 702. 176. 234. I dare not say that all heroes are particularly good people, because it is inevitable that some heroes rely on their own strength to do things that are not as good as pigs and dogs, but most heroes are special people. Good people who are willing to give their lives for people. Anzhe stopped attacking, and withdrew his magic. His hair fell down, covering his eyes, making it difficult to see his current emotions. Hey, you heroes just put it nicely, why would you give everything for us? It's unbelievable, you heroes can only bring us disaster. If it weren't for you heroes, the League of Villains would not looking for trouble around the world because of how many of you heroes have been hurt. The boss at the head yelled fiercely at Anzhe. According to what he said, it seemed that the damage caused by the League of Villains was more serious than they thought. I know it's all because of us, we'll take care of it and protect you guys, but you shouldn't distrust us and join the League of Villains, don't you want to put the world in trouble? Anzhe was also a little angry. He knew that many people questioned 443 because of the League of Villains, but he didn't think it was so serious. It seemed that the people's thinking needed to be stabilized. The boss smiled mockingly, then rushed towards Anzhe recklessly, wanting to die with Anzhe, but his calculation was wrong. The gap between him and Anzhe was not a little bit, but a lot. Anzhe used the Brontosaurus to attack the boss, and won easily, then tied up the rest of the people, took them flying in the sky, and returned to the office. Anzhe, you're back. Yaoyorozu Momo and the others have been waiting for Anzhe's news. After seeing Anzhe's return, they immediately helped arrest the villain, but Anzhe's face was a little bad. After he came back, he locked himself in the room and never came out. Anzhe, what's the matter? Ashido Mina and others stood outside the door, a little confused. They wanted to leave but didn't want to, because they were afraid that something might happen to Anzhe, but they wanted to continue patrolling. I'm fine, just keep on patrolling. Anzhe knew their concerns, so he adjusted his voice and told them to leave first. Yaoyorozu Momo and others left after receiving the signal, while Anzhe stayed in the house. Is our long-term efforts all in vain? People think of us that way, so why do we do heroes? We have paid so much for them, and they not only don't understand, but also see us like this, don't they? Are we all wrong? Anzhe held his head, his thoughts were a little confused, and he had doubts about himself for the first time. Anzhe, you are not wrong, have you forgotten why you are a hero? Another him appeared in Anzhe's mind, fighting against the dark him. Hey, it's already at this time, why do you want to kill them all back then, why do they not understand you so much? The dark Anzhe has a ferocious face, he no longer trusts people, but wants to kill people. No, how can you kill them, they are the ones you have to protect. You have to protect them, don't let them get hurt. Ajda. The good Anzhe refuted the dark Anzhe, and Anzhe listened to their conversation quietly. You said what happened to Anzhe? He became so weird after he came back from somewhere. Ashido Mina and the others were walking on the road, still discussing Anzhe's matter. After all, this matter is very serious. He should be fine, he's a good hero after all. Yaoyorozu Momo is not so worried, because Anzhe is a very good person, not something they should worry about. I figured it out. I can't continue to be depressed. There are still many people waiting for me to save. How can I deny myself here? After repeated confirmations, Anzhe recovered her state, waved her wings, and flew out of the window. Anzhe, have you read the latest news? Mount. Lady saw Anzhe during the execution of the mission, and stopped Anzhe. No, what happened? Anzhe has been very busy recently and hasn't had time to sit down and have a good rest, so I don't know what MT. Lady is talking about. It's just about the recent hero killers. There has been a lot of noise, and many heroes have been killed. Mount. Lady looked nervous, it seems that this matter is indeed very serious. Okay, I see. After I go back, I will check some relevant content. Anzhe frowned, and prepared to go back and collect some information. If this is the case, if he doesn't do anything, more heroes will die. Mount. Lady talked with Anzhe for a while, then left. Ange also went to find Yaoyorozu Momo Ashido Mina and Jiro Kyoka soon. After Ange knew what happened just now, he was afraid that the three of them would be in danger. Are you three okay? Ange fell down and asked anxiously. 161 Pursuit. Of course we're fine, what can we do? What happened? Yaoyorozu Momo and the others were patrolling well, but Ange suddenly appeared and asked them if they were okay, which made them confused. I don't know what's going on. A Hero-S killer appeared recently. You are wearing combat uniforms. I'm afraid that something bad will happen to you. That's why I'm so anxious like just now. Ange felt relieved, and then took a few deep breaths. As the Hero-S killer someone from the League of Villains? Jiro Kyoka asked. League of Villains has been too rampant recently. If the Hero-S killer is one of them, their strength should not be underestimated. I also just learned the news, so it's not very clear yet. Ange shook his head. He only knew a sign, but not others. By the way, Ange, what happened to you before? You locked yourself in the room alone, what happened? Yaoyorozu Momo didn't want to ask at first, but decided to ask. After all, he was afraid that something might happen to Ange. I'm fine, I'm just thinking about some issues. I feel that in today's world, especially after the emergence of the League of Villains, the world's recognition and trust in us has been greatly reduced. So I'm here, what should we do? That's how we build people's trust in us. Ange didn't hide from Yaoyorozu Momo, Ashido Mina and Jiro Kyoka, but told them what he thought. So that's the case. I know that people are very disturbed recently. Have you come up with a solution? You can tell us, and we can help. Ashido Mina was very excited when he heard that there was something to do. Okay, these things are not something you should worry about, now you have to figure out how to pass the internship safely. Ange didn't want this matter to disturb the good mood of the girls, so he picked a topic at random and diverted his gaze. The world is not safe now, let's go back to the office quickly, and then think of a solution. Ange is going to take the three girls back to the office to investigate what is going on with the Hero-S killer, and then come up with a solution. Good. Ange flew in the sky to help them observe the surroundings, and the three girls walked quickly to the office. Finally arrived at home. Ashido Mina collapsed on the sofa after arriving at the office. It seems that they must be exhausted today, after all, they have to face three very strong opponents alone. Ange didn't say anything, and turned on the TV directly, and now the Hero-S killer was being reported on the TV. Stain himself is called a Hero-S killer. He wants revenge on all Hero-S because he thinks Hero-S is the most incompetent person in the world. He hates Hero-S. Hero-S always said that he was a symbol of justice but failed to do so, so he slaughtered Hero-S, and several Hero-S have fallen into his hands so far. Brief coverage of what happened to Hero-S killer Stain on TV. Ange frowned while listening, not knowing what he was thinking. This Hero-S killer is so hateful, why does he say that about Hero-S? Each of us wants to be Hero-S, of course, because Hero-S is very powerful, he can protect everyone. Quote. Ashido Mina immediately felt angry after hearing Hero-S killer Stain's evaluation of Hero-S. Well, it's better for this Hero-S killer to enter the net early, otherwise there will be more Hero-S suffering. 0. Seeking flowers, 0. Yaoyorozu Momo nodded. Hero-S killer Stain has been getting a lot of buzz lately. It seems that the people from the League of Villains should find him, so we must find Stain first and destroy him. We can't let him kill more Hero-S. You guys stay at home, I'll go out for a while, remember not to go out, it's already night, Hero-S killer Stain is very likely to be nearby. Ange was really restless, so he was going to go out to look for clues, to see if he could find the Hero-S killer Stain. When he went out, he still told the three girls to pay attention to safety. Oh, are you going out to find Stain? Do you need our help? We won't hold you back. Ashido Mina wants to show her skills whenever she encounters this kind of thing, so she really wants to follow, but Ange will never agree. This is absolutely impossible. You don't have enough experience and ability now, and you need more training. If you let me go with me now, your life and death will definitely be uncertain. You should stay at home. Ange refuted without hesitation. Why is this? Ashido Mina was a little unhappy when she heard such words, she pouted her little mouth, and the rest of her was always pink, looking very cute. Mina, Ange is doing it for our own good. Even if you don't want to admit it, we can't help him with our current capabilities, and we can only hold back when we get there. So let's keep an eye on the office here. Yaoyorozu Momo speaks when the time is right. 162 Fight. Please subscribe. 6 women who are known for their large body parts. More. 467. 117. 156. It's already night, the city is very noisy, some people are talking together, some are playing together, and there are a lot of cars on the road. Ange flapped his wings and soared in the night sky. He was vigilant under him, for fear of missing anything. Suddenly, there was a scream in a small alley, and Ange immediately adjusted his direction and flew towards where. Where is who? Ange doesn't know who the enemy is, and he doesn't know what the enemy's abilities are, so he can't act rashly, he can only step in step by step. Save. Help me. A faint. 747. Sound came from inside the alley. After Ange heard it, he couldn't care about anything and rushed in immediately. Ange just came in, but there was no one in sight. Instead, there was a radio playing in a loop, and what was playing in it was the sound of calling for help. Okay, it's been tricked. Ange reacted immediately and wanted to flap his wings to escape, but a person came out from the darkness. Oh my goodness, I fell for the trick very quickly this time. As soon as I put it down, someone took the bait. Stain came out of the darkness, and Anzhe saw his face clearly. Stain looks like a bird, with a long beak and sharp eyes, as if he wants to kill his prey with one blow. Who are you? Anzhe wanted to step back vigilantly, trying to keep a distance from Stain. I'm Stain, don't you know? I'm the hero's killer who's been making a lot of noise recently. Judging by your appearance, you should also be a hero's. You're unlucky to meet me. Stain briefly introduced himself, then took out the sword on his back, put himself in a good position, and prepared to launch the first attack. Wait a minute, I know you are a hero's killer, but I want to find out your motives. What is your reason for killing hero's? Anzhe called a timeout at a critical moment. He wanted to know why Stan was so anxious to kill hero's. Hey, because I think you hero's can't save this world, and this world has become even more miserable because of your arrival. Stain was not in a hurry to do it directly, but responded to Anzhe's words. We hero's can't save the world. Anzhe didn't understand the meaning of this sentence, because although he worked as hero's for a short time, there were many reports on the internet before, and hero's saved one case after another. Can it be said that the world cannot be saved? Anzhe frowned. Obviously he couldn't accept Stain's words. The two of us have different ideas and concepts, so it doesn't make any sense. You should be obedient and don't fight back. I can make you suffer a little less. Stain shook his head, didn't intend to waste any more time, and started attacking Anzhe. He held the sword in both hands and wanted to slash Anzhe, but Anzhe resisted, and Anzhe used a Thunder Dragon first. Although Brontosaurus was avoided by Stain, it has the function of tracking. It has been chasing after Stain. Stain was not in a hurry, but was looking for an opportunity to kill Brontosaurus. Finally, he found the opportunity. When the Brontosaurus was about to catch up with him, it jumped onto the room, the Brontosaurus hit the wall and exploded. Stain didn't stop, but launched another attack, and it was a series of attacks, without giving Anzhe a chance to rest. It was difficult for Anzhe to dodge. Stain can't fly, so he can only stay on the ground to attack, but his jumping ability is very strong, and he can always jump into the sky. Anzhe saw the moment Stain jumped up and fell, and quickly used the ice shape, the floor. Stain is not so easy to deal with. Stain quickly reacted and jumped to the wall on the side, and then quickly attacked Anzhe with the power of the wall. In order not to be stabbed by Stain, Anzhe flew higher. I thought the hero's who came here shouldn't be a very powerful person. I didn't expect you to have the ability to fly. It seems that we can't tell the winner tonight. I just have an appointment, so let's see you next time. I will definitely kill you when we meet next time. Stain stopped attacking, turned around and waved his hands, and left quickly. Anzhe breathed a sigh of relief, looked thoughtfully at the direction Stain left, and then returned to the office with wings flapping. Anzhe, you're back. Have you eaten the 5.1 meal? We happen to have some leftovers. You can heat it up and eat it. Yaoyorozu Momo saw Anzhe came back, walked out of the room, and took out the meal just now. Anzhe quickly went back to the room, changed his clothes, and heated up the meal when he came out, but he didn't expect that Yaoyorozu Momo was still waiting for him. What's the matter? What do you want me to do? Anzhe sat down on the stool calmly and asked Yaoyorozu Momo. Well, how's things going with Stain? Did you go out and see him today? Yaoyorozu Momo seems to be very concerned about this matter. 163 winning. Please subscribe. 6 women who are known for their large body parts. More. 799. 200. 266. I did see him today. He is very skilled and powerful. I just had a small fight with him, and there was no winner. From this point of view, his strength is not inferior to mine. Quote. When Anzhe talked about Stain, he became serious and serious. Stain must be caught. If his thoughts are scattered all over the society, it will be an immeasurable disaster. Hero's still has a certain status and belief in everyone's eyes. If he is allowed to spread his ideas like this, Hero's will no longer be trusted by everyone. Then do you have any ideas? What can we do to catch him? He is a sick person who disappears. I don't know where he will appear. Yaoyorozu Momo values Stan very much, because although she can't fight against Stain, she still wants to make a certain contribution behind the scenes. I haven't thought about this 09 at the moment, but I will go out every day to find his traces. As soon as I find him, I will quickly contact other heroes, let them help us, and then arrest him and bring him to justice. Anzhe actually didn't know how to deal with Stain. This kind of thing is better resolved by force. Well, okay, I see, you can eat quickly, and go to bed early after eating. There are still a lot of things to do tomorrow. After Yaoyorozu Momo grasped the situation, he got up and went back to his room. Before he left, he asked Anzhe. Anzhe suddenly had a feeling that he was the intern, and Yaoyorozu Momo was the professional hero's. Anzhe smiled, then quickly finished his meal, went back to the house, took a shower, and then went to bed. Stain and Anzhe wanted to leave directly after the fight, but suddenly received news from the League of Villains. He has always had a slight interest in this League of Villains, so he went to the appointment. Ah, it's so boring. Why is there such a person as Anzhe? What should I do to get rid of him? What should I do? Heroes should all die. They are a bunch of trash. Every time Tamura Shigaraki is bored, or unable to understand, or angry, he scratches his body frantically. No exception. As long as he thought of Anzhe, he couldn't stop itching on his body. He frantically scratched his body with his hands, made a hissing sound, and left scratch marks on his face and neck. Muhong, It's okay, someone is coming. Kurogiri was wiping his cup, and then suddenly felt someone approaching them and reminded Tamura Shigaraki. Tamura Shigaraki knew who was coming, and he quickly calmed down, his hands were also put down, and he looked out of the door quietly. Buck button. Stain knocked on the door. Kurogiri went to help him open the door. Stain was not very surprised to see the scene after the door was opened. These world's most civilized villains are here. Stain, I invite you here because I want you to join us. Our villains are all heroes. If you join us, your power and our power will be doubled, so that our chances of winning it will be even bigger. If you are weak and resist heroes alone, I believe you will be caught by them within a short time. Tamura Shigaraki clapped his hands. He really wanted Stain to join them, because Stain's combat effectiveness is indeed not low. If he joins, they will quickly wipe out the heroes. Even if our villains are all heroes, but give me a reason why I want to join you. Our thinking seems to be different. My thinking is for the sake of the whole country, and you are just pure want to destroy it. Stain looked at Tamura Shigaraki calmly. If Tamura Shigaraki can answer his questions, then it's not that she can't join them. If you want to protect the people in the country, I can help you protect the people in the country. As long as we kill the heroes, isn't there only us left in the world who are the strongest? What can't be protected? Tamura Shigaraki is dealing with Stain. He actually wants Stein to join them. He doesn't care what Stain's dream is. Hey, if this is the answer you gave me, then I'm really sorry. I can't join you. We don't agree with each other. Stain sneered, and was about to turn around and leave. Ah, you want to leave when you just came here. Why don't you play with my sister and me? Opening square bracket. Himiko Toga is very cynical. There is greed in her eyes. Yes, maybe Stain is not young, but she is still interested in this man. Hey, if you want to fight, I will accompany you at any time, but I will definitely not join you. Stain's hand was on the sword behind him, ready to fight if the two sides fought. Himiko Toga, stand down, we don't want to fight. Tamura Shigaraki stopped in time, his tone was not too turbulent. 164 Conspiracy, please subscribe. Since you don't want to do anything, then I won't accompany you, so I will leave first, and you can do whatever you want. After Stain finished speaking, he quickly left the base of League of Villains. Mu Heng, did you just let him go like this? Don't you want him to be our team member? If we fight, we may not necessarily lose. He only has one person, but we have many people. Maggie thinks that Stain should not be allowed to leave just like this. If Stan wants to fight against them, he will be a strong opponent. It would be better to kill him directly if he cannot become a team member here. Now is not the time to fight with him. Since he doesn't want to join us, he certainly won't be our enemy. It can be said that having him is a good thing for us. He can distract the attention of the heroes when the time comes. We can do something big in the city. Tamura Shigaraki is no longer as impulsive as before, but he has a better idea, and he himself has calmed down a lot. In this kind of situation like before, he would fight directly, but now he has thought of the next thing. Mu Heng, you have really grown up. The TV suddenly turned on, showing blue snowflakes. When Tamura Shigaraki heard this voice, the expression on his face was completely different, revealing yearning and trust. Teacher, I did a good job this time, right? Tamura Shigaraki is now begging for rewards from his teacher like a child. He trusts his teacher very much and admires his teacher very much. Yes, your current strength is still not strong enough to confront him head on, so you think of wrecking around the world so that Hero SS strength can be transferred, then it will be much easier. The teacher's voice was a little hoarse, but he explained what Tamura Shigaraki meant just now. A few people said a few more words briefly, and then the teacher disconnected. Next, it will be the hardest time for Hero S. Tamura Shigaraki clasped his fists in front of his mouth, eyes full of victory and hatred for the Hero S. The bustling city still doesn't know what is waiting for them, whether it is destruction or hope. Everyone woke up early as usual. Let's act quickly after breakfast. This time I won't follow you, so you have to be careful, but if there is danger, you deliberately go to MT. Lady, I have other business. Anzhe woke up very early. When the three girls woke up, he had already woken up early, had finished his meal, put on his combat uniform and was ready to go out. It doesn't matter if you don't follow us today, we will do very well even if you are not here. This is also an opportunity to train us. Ashido Mina is still very energetic as always, and will not be bothered by these things in front of him at all. Well, come on, I'll go first. Anzhe smiled, and then quickly went out the door. Once outside the door, he waved his wings and flew into the sky, moving forward quickly. We don't have Anzhe to help us today, but we can't relax because of this, we should work harder. Yaoyorozu Momo sat at the dining table encouraging everyone. The three girls finished their meal, then changed into their combat uniforms and went out. The three girls were walking aimlessly on the road, and they ran into MT. Lady Who was on duty. Mount. Lady's ability is gigantic, she can suddenly increase her body to hundreds of times bigger. She was punishing the bad guys who caused destruction. She was like a small ant in front of her, and she could be pinched very easily. Mount. Lady showed a triumphant and confident smile, and everyone was applauding for MT. Lady. Backquote wow. Mount. Lady is amazing. I want to be like her to get everyone's encouragement, get everyone's support, and protect everyone. Ashido Mina's eyes are like shining stars now, she is imagining how majestic and powerful she will be in the future, and she can protect it well. Everyone who wants to protect. Why are you here? Isn't Anzhe with you? Mount. Lady handed over the villains to the police, then saw them when she became smaller, and came to talk to them, but Anzhe's figure was not seen behind them or in the sky. Anzhe's about Stain's track, good, let us patrol by ourselves, if there is something, I hope you can help us. Yaoyorozu Momo was very polite when he spoke, and even used your honorific, MT. Lady smiled. You don't need to use honorific titles with me, I'm actually not much older than you, I'm just your senior, but when I'm together, you can try to relax as much as possible. Mount. Lady teases the three girls. It just so happens that I don't have anything else to do, so I'll accompany you on patrol. If you need help, I'm always willing to help. Mount. Lady thought about it, and decided to follow the three girls. 165 MT. Lady's Crisis. Please subscribe. Mount. Lady is walking on the street with three girls, and there will always be people who come to say hello to them, but they are all saying hello to MT. Lady. Mount. Lady has been very popular recently, so her supporters are not few. Ah, MT. Lady, I really envy you. You have so many supporters. I really don't know when I can become a professional hero like you. I can protect them and let them support me. Ashido Mina jumped in front of MT. Lady, and said enviously while being cute. Ha ha ha, take your time, you will be like me, this kind of thing can't be rushed, and professional hero is a very dangerous profession, you may lose your life. So if you don't have enough training in the early stage, if you can't meet your abilities, don't rush to be a hero Mount. Lady smiled, and then told them a few words, professional hero is really not a joke. People like them will encounter many things every day, a lot of bad guys, and sometimes these bad guys are very difficult to defeat. Yeah, I will definitely train well to make myself stronger and 583 can protect more people. At that time, MT. Lady, can we go on a mission together? Ashido Mina made a cheering gesture with her hands, and then looked at MT. Lady expectantly. Of course, as long as you are strong enough, you will protect many people. At that time, I am just your senior. Of course we can go on missions together. If you are in danger, I will protect you. Quote. Mount. Lady patted Ashido Mina on the head. I don't need MT. Lady to protect me. I will be very strong by then, and I will protect you. Ashido Mina pouted unhappily. Ha 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 ha. Mount. Lady laughed even louder seeing such a cute Ashido Mina. Yaoyorozu Momo looked at them, and they couldn't help but smile AJCE when they talked, but they kept thinking about Anzhe and Stain in their hearts. Stain is definitely not weak, so he is very worried about whether Anzhe can deal with it, and whether they need their help. Yaoyorozu Momo, are you worried about Anzhe? Don't worry, Anzhe is so powerful, he will be fine. On the contrary, it's been a long time for us, so it's time to go back. I'll escort you home. Mount. Lady comforted Yaoyorozu Momo, then looked at her watch, ready to escort them home. Mount. Lady sent the three girls to the office, and then she was about to leave. Mount. Lady, where are you going? Stain's voice suddenly sounded beside MT. Lady, and MT. Lady immediately entered the combat state. She turned around and saw that Stain was standing in the alley waiting for her. She was not afraid at all. More heroes have been victimized, and she has no way to find others now, but she has sent a signal to Anzhe just now, and I believe Anzhe will come here soon, as long as she stays for a while. Stain, why did you come to see me? Mount. Lady questioned Stan Yan while slowly moving her body closer to Stan Yan. What can I do if I come to you? Of course I will kill you. Don't worry, you won't feel any pain soon. After Stain pulled out his own knife, he licked the surface of the knife with his tongue, showing a bloodthirsty expression, and then quickly attacked MT. Lady. Mount. Lady's own ability is huge, but she doesn't want to hurt the people around her, so she has been moving the battlefield to the deepest part of the alley. Anzhe, you must come quickly. Mount. Lady's face is already covered with cold sweat, her body has become huge, and her attack is within the range of villains, and villains moves very quickly, and Stain's swordsmanship is also very good, but now not sure what his abilities are. Mount. Lady, are you underestimating me? What are my abilities? You don't even know, but you dare to expose your abilities directly. You are a little too arrogant, right? Stain smiled disdainfully. You are just a hero-s killer. You may not be able to kill me. The competition has not started yet, and it is not certain who will win. Mount. Lady wants to drag this fight on as long as possible. Stain didn't bother talking to MT. Lady, and started directly. Stain quickly moved around MT. Lady. Mount. Lady moved very slowly because of her huge body, and couldn't see Stain's movements clearly. It's too bad, if it continues like this, it will be too bad for me. Mount. Lady has already begun to break out in a cold sweat. She is a little flustered now, and doesn't know how to fight, because she really doesn't understand Stain, so she doesn't dare to act rashly. Anzhe here. Ding dong. When Anzhe was patrolling the sky, a message suddenly came from his mobile phone. Anzhe, Stain is here, hurry to support. After seeing this message, Anzhe went to MT. Lady immediately. 166 fight. Please subscribe. Mount. Lady, you have to hold on. I'll be right there. Anzhe has already used his fastest speed to go to the battlefield, and hope that MT. Lady will be safe and sound. Stain, if you want to fight me, please fight me in a serious and bright way, and don't engage in these sneaky actions. Here MT. Lady really can't figure out the exact location of Stain, so she had to use this aggressive method to force Stain to take the initiative, so that she can grasp the situation. Mount. Lady, you should be the most popular hero among the emerging heroes right now. Why do you even use this kind of childish tricks? Don't provoke me, I won't come out, how can I expose my position and let you slaughter me? Stain's voice came from every corner of the alley, and the exact location could not be determined. Mount. Lady's idea was seen through, and she didn't feel the slightest embarrassment. After all, in the battlefield, you have to use any method, as long as you can defeat the opponent. Stain started to attack, he slashed at MT. Lady with his sword, MT. Lady carefully dodged sideways. Stain didn't stop because of this, he stepped on the wall beside him, with the help of the wall quickly attacked the mountain woman again, MT. Lady didn't stand firmly this time, and fell heavily to the ground, making a loud noise. Stain originally wanted to quickly resolve the battle, but MT. Lady reacted immediately, quickly stood up from the ground, and then hit Stain with her huge fist. Stain quickly dodged and hit aside. Mount. Lady quickly adjusted her state and prepared to fight again. Now he is much more stable. After all, she couldn't figure out Stain's fighting situation at the beginning, but now it seems that Stain is indeed stronger than her. But as long as it's a delay, it should be okay. Stain dodged and hid in the corner of the alley. The mountain woman watched her surroundings vigilantly, when suddenly a gust of wind passed by. Stain south MT. Lady's left face struck. The female hero focused, and quickly grabbed the side of Stain's impression with both hands and slammed it hard. Stain made a miscalculation this time, and he fell heavily to the ground. Seeing that she had succeeded, MT. Lady wanted to crush Stain with her gigantic feet, but Stain turned around and avoided it. Stain no longer looked down on MT. Lady as he did just now, he stood up quickly, activated his ability, he said a few spells in his mouth, and then he floated up to his sword again, and the sword suddenly flashed red light. Stain attacked MT. Lady. Mount. Lady Stain seemed to use her own ability, but nothing changed around her, but Stain's attack this time was faster than before. Mount. Lady hurriedly dodged in panic. Stain failed this time, and soon launched the next attack, but MT. Lady easily dodged several consecutive attacks. Seeing this, MT. Lady gradually let go of her vigilance. She felt that no matter how powerful Stain is, no matter how mysterious his ability is, but if he and she can't touch her, then Stain can't succeed. Stain also felt that MT. Lady let down his vigilance, and he showed a smug expression. After he attacked a bit, MT. Lady finally showed his flaws and let him get it. His sword carefully scratched MT. Lady's skin, only a small cut. 0 request flowers. Suffered. Mount. Lady clearly felt some pain on her right leg. She looked down and found that she was injured, but such a small cut should not be a big problem. Mount. Lady, you are still careless. Just with these 10 small holes, believe it or not, you will have no power to fight back. Stain no longer attacked MT. Lady, he stopped, stood below calmly, looked up at MT. Lady. Point 0. Asterisk 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 asterisk. What? Mount. Lady heard Stain's outrageous words. Although there was a trace of disbelief in her heart, she did not dare to relax her vigilance. She stepped back cautiously, but she suddenly found that her body was completely out of her control, and she couldn't do it again. Action. Stain, what did you do to me? Why can't I act now? Mount. Lady was in a panic now. She wanted to move anxiously, but her body was motionless. She anxiously asked Stain. Mount. Lady, this is my ability. As long as my sword cuts even a small cut in any part of your body will be completely under my control. Stain showed a victorious expression, snapped his fingers with his right hand, and MT. Lady fell heavily to the ground, and her abilities disappeared, turning into an ordinary person. Mount. Lady saw that Stain was walking towards her slowly. She struggled fiercely to get up quickly so that she could fight, otherwise she would only die. 167 Sneak attack. Ah, help, help, who can help me? Suddenly there was a violent scream in the city, and along with the explosion, the police quickly dispatched, and professional heroes also quickly arrived at the battlefield and began to rescue. How is this going? Best Jeanist was the first to arrive, and he quickly led the people in his firm into action. The people in his firm went to rescue other people, and he stared at Nomu who appeared here. We don't know exactly what happened, we only know that there was a sudden explosion in the 150, and then our police were dispatched, and we saw a lot of giant monsters here, and their brains were exposed. Quote. The police began to give a detailed explanation to Best Jeanist. After hearing this, Best Jeanist felt that something was wrong. It seemed that the people from the League of Villains launched an action. Now you quickly notify other professional heroes. I will bear it first. They actually launched an action. Then it is definitely not just this place, so you have to hurry to see if Nomu has appeared in other places. Best Jeanist used his ability to get along with the Nomu, and the police didn't dare to stop and quickly contact other professional heroes. What the hell happened? How did explosions happen in so many places? On the way Anzhe went to rescue MT. Lady, he suddenly saw a lot of Nomu. He couldn't accept it and stopped in the sky, but he quickly realized that he was struggling in his heart whether he was going to save the citizens. Or save MT. Lady. But judging from this, there should be many professional heroes dispatched, and it shouldn't matter if he is missing, so he immediately reached an idea in his heart and prepared to rescue MT. Lady. Help! Someone help me! Don't eat me! A citizen was about to be attacked by Nomu. Suddenly, a ball of fire fell from the sky and hit Nomu heavily. Are you okay? If it's okay, please leave this place as soon as possible. It will soon become a battlefield. At that time, I won't be able to take care of your safety. Endeavor received the news, he quickly got out of his car, and into the battle, he squinted at the rescued citizen. It's Endeavor. Endeavor is here. We're saved. When the citizens saw Endeavor, they trusted in their hearts and began to cheer, as if they had been rescued, but in fact, there were more Nomu attacking them. Endeavor put all his heart into the battle, he was always burning with flames, Nomu didn't care about it at all, as if he didn't feel it, he only knew about crazy fighting and crazy attacks. What's the matter with these things? It feels like they only know how to fight, like unconscious monsters. Shoto Todoroki also came, and now he couldn't fight Nomu, so he had to watch his father fight quietly from a distance. No matter what they are, our task is to eliminate them and protect the safety of the citizens. You just need to remember this. No matter how powerful your opponent is, you must believe in yourself and become stronger. Endeavor heard Shoto Todoroki's voice and taught Shoto Todoroki a lesson. Shoto Todoroki firmly remembered these words in his heart, and then stood quietly watching his father fight, and would ask his father for help from time to time. Now there are a lot of Nomu appearing in every corner of the city, and many professional heroes have dispatched all the people in their offices to stop them, but these things are really amazing, they have no consciousness, but their ability but very powerful. Because they can imitate the attacks of heroes, they are very difficult to fight against, but professional heroes are not vegetarian, they can quickly deal with these Nomu, but it will take some time. Quick, we have to send out our people to help them. Although our ability is not superior to theirs, we are not weak. We must let the cities see the strength of our police. The police saw the professional heroes fighting, and they were not to be outdone, and threw themselves into the battle, but they needed a lot of people to fight against one satisfaction, and they might not be able to win by 4.5. I know you want to help, but it's better not to help now, otherwise it will only be a disservice, you just stand aside and help the injured, and we will take care of the rest. Endeavor pushed the police aside, because he felt that the police would only help more and more. It would be better for him to fight alone, which would be easier. The police also felt their own inadequacies during the short few minutes of fighting in Gangtai, so they had to quietly help the wounded to deal with the wounds. 168 Fierce Battle. Please subscribe. Anzhe. When Mt. Lady was about to be killed by Stain, she called out Anzhe's name. Coming. Anzhe finally arrived at the battlefield at a critical moment, and because of Anzhe's arrival, Stain stopped what he was doing, and he took 2 steps back. Mount. Lady is now unconscious. Stain, you release Mt. Lady quickly. Anzhe yelled at Stain, but Stain was unmoved, and instead showed a disdainful expression. If you want to save this woman, do it yourself. Stain kicked Mt. Lady, and Mt. Lady's body slid out of the way, giving them enough ground to fight. Since you have said so, Stain, let's fight. Yes, I am not as strong as you, but I will use all my strength to prevent you from defeating you, and finally send you to prison to die for those who died. The hero take revenge. Anzhe waved his huge wings, with a firm look in his eyes, he stared at Stain firmly, he had fully considered the preparations. Since you have said so, come on, see if you can stop me and save her. Hearing what Anzhe said, Stain quickly entered the battle, and he disappeared into the alley in a flash. Anzhe looked around vigilantly. Although he was flying in the sky, he didn't dare to relax his vigilance, because he had seen Stain's jumping ability before. If Stain jumped up and attacked him, it would be a breeze. Anzhe was holding his breath, his spirit was tense, he was afraid that Stain would take advantage of him if he didn't pay attention, and at that time, it would be too late for him to dodge, he had already heard about Stain's ability from others. What is it? Stain can control other people's mobility through other people's blood, so in the next battle, he must not let Stain cut himself. Stain probably also guessed that Anzhe had figured out his abilities, so he didn't show up in a hurry, but played hide and seek with Anzhe. As long as he appeared in this corner, he would appear in the next corner in the next second. No matter how fast Anzhe's eyes are, he can't be faster than Stain's speed. Stain's speed is really unflattering, and his ability is also very powerful. In the first round of Stain's attack, he quickly slashed at Anzhe with the power of the wall, but Anzhe's wings moved very fast, and he quickly dodged it easily. Then Anzhe used the Thunder Dragon, and the Thunder Dragon flew going to Stain, and then chasing Stain and walking around, Stain directly cut the Thunder Dragon with his own sword, which was invalid. Seeing that his magic was useless, Anzhe immediately used the next magic, Lancer. His magic seemed to be inexhaustible, and he used Thunder Dragon Lancers as quickly as possible, feeling the power of thousands of horses rushing towards Stain. Stain didn't panic because of this, he avoided the magic methodically. At the right time, Stain quickly hid in the alley again. He felt that this kind of battle was too slow, and he wanted to quickly feel the outcome. Anzhe concentrated his attention, and then made a move to the floor. The ground in the alley was soon completely frozen. Stain, because of the ice, could not move quickly, because his shoes were not non-slip, so he again if you move fast, you will slip. Anzhe saw Stain, and quickly used his magic, but Stain is definitely not a vegetarian, he can walk on the wall even when the floor is turned into ice. Anzhe knows Stain's ability, he definitely wouldn't stop there, so he didn't have too much hope for the move he just made. Stain used the power of the wall to do a triple jump, and then ran to the back of Anzhe. Before Anzhe realized it was too late, but at the very moment, Anzhe activated the protective shield, and a protective shield appeared beside him, pushing Stain away. 60 boats passed through these three calamities. Anzhe felt that there was no way to go on like this. If he only stopped at this one place, he would be like a living target. He could only wait for Stain and let him attack, so he retracted his wings and started chasing Stain and beating Stain. Running away frantically, Anzhe chased him frantically. While chasing Stain, Anzhe used his magic Brontosaurus. Stain quickly dodged in the air, dodging here, running there, and then he easily dodged the Brontosaurus. Anzhe was not discouraged by this, and it is constantly sending out his magic. Anzhe, I didn't expect that you still have such strength. Your magic seems to be inexhaustible, and it will never stop. When Stain was being chased by Anzhe, he still had time to evaluate Anzhe's magic. It can be seen that he hadn't used up all his strength. Anzhe didn't dare to relax. He stared at Stain, afraid that Stain would disappear if he didn't pay attention. Gone. 169 Guild Wars 2. Please subscribe. HMPH. Stain, I haven't exhausted my strength yet. When I do, it will be your death day. There was a fierce look in Anzhe's eyes. He was not reconciled to those heroes killed by Stain. He wanted to avenge them. I hope you have the ability. In the process of fleeing, Stain turned around to look at Anzhe. Anzhe was expressionless, hating himself for not being fast enough to catch up with Stain. The Iron Fist of the Dragon. Anzhe didn't have time to waste time with Stain, so he wanted to end the fight quickly. He said a magic name, and then a huge fire fist appeared in the sky and attacked Stain. Stain suddenly felt the hot flame as he approached her. He looked back and saw such a scene. The huge fire fist moved towards him quickly, and the air began to dry up, as if evaporated by the fire of the fire fist, and there would be a hazy feeling around the fire fist, which made people uncomfortable. In order to avoid the fire fist, Stain turned around and ran to the other side of the alley. When the fire fist was about to hit the nearby residential building, Anzhe eliminated the magic in time, which did not cause the residential building to explode. Stain didn't give Anzhe a chance to react. He moved quickly on the wall in 2 and 3 steps, and then he took his own sword and slashed at Anzhe. Although Anzhe didn't have a weapon in his hand, he had a shield, and the shield opened Stain's body again. Attack. Stain started a multi-stage attack, but every time he couldn't hit Anzhe, Stain started to stop and think. He found that there was an invisible barrier around Anzhe that people couldn't see, but it was there, and it could prevent anything attack. If he can't hit Anzhe, then his ability can't be used. Stain took out his other sword and began to attack Anzhe again, but this time he was attacking with a purpose. He was attacking the same place, hoping to attack the same place. This place could not withstand the huge pressure. It will break open, which will be powerful for him. Suffered. Anzhe guessed Stain's thoughts. He wanted to avoid Stain's attack, but no matter how he dodged or used his magic, Stain always hit the same place. There was a drop of sweat on Anzhe's face, and the sweat slid down his cheeks to his neck. Anzhe swallowed, and he started to avoid Stain. But Stain's movement is so fast that people can't figure it out. He moves quickly in every corner of the alley, and his steps are very strange, and his physical strength is also very good. She has already attacked so for a long time, but without a trace of fatigue, he was still attacking him intently. Stain, what you said to me before, I thought about it, and I don't think what you said is right. Anzhe wanted to distract Stain's attention by chatting, but it didn't work. He was talking alone, and Stain didn't listen at all. You said before that heroes can only bring disasters to people, but I don't think it's right. You can't judge all the previous successes of heroes just because of one mistake. Don't you think this is too absolute? Heroes previously lost their lives protecting people, and their families. Anzhe said what he was thinking when he was looking for Stain these days, and Stain suddenly paused, but he didn't let go of his hands. I think people should give all their trust to heroes. Heroes protects them, guards them, and prevents them from being hurt a little bit, but they ignore themselves. I left my hometown, abandoned my wife and children. What is the reason for this? It's not because of these people. Anzhe stopped suddenly, stood where he was, and let Stain attack him without any resistance. Stain's arms spun rapidly, and hit Anzhe's protective wall one after another. He listened quietly to what Anzhe said, but the movements of his hands didn't stop. Stain, since I can stand here and want to catch you, it means that I am not a person who is greedy for life and fear of death. I want to protect the person I want to protect, so I am not afraid of you. I know why you want to. If you want to break my shield, I will take off the shield and have a fair and square confrontation with you. Get Qian Zhao. Quote. When Anzhe said this, Stain stopped and looked at Anzhe quietly. Anzhe recited a spell silently, and the protective wall around him evaporated like water vapor, disappearing without a trace. Anzhe, do you know? When fighting villains, no matter how many tools or props you have on your body, these will be the key to your victory or loss. You say you want to beat me, but you don't after removing your protective shield. I believe you must know what my ability is. Even so, do you still want to fight me openly? Stain spoke. 170 Guild Wars 3. Please subscribe. 39. Battle 3. Yes, I want to fight with you to see who wins and who loses between me and you. Anzhe's eyes are full of confidence and determination. It seems that he really made up his mind. Regardless of life or death, he just wants to fight Stain. Okay, I see. Stain looked at Anzhe for a while, then stepped back, stood still and waited for Anzhe. Anzhe gave himself a sigh of relief in his heart, and then quickly spread his wings and entered the fighting state. Anzhe flew at the highest point, because Stain, no matter how high he jumped, he could not surpass the person flying up. Taking advantage of this, beat him in one go. Stain muttered in his heart, then took out his sword and held it in front of his eyes, and then a red light flashed beside his sword. With a swipe, it was like Anzhe flew away. Anzhe was startled, and then quickly dodged the 280 red light. This red light hit the air in the sky, but it still caused injuries. Anzhe didn't dare to take advantage of his own flying anymore, because Stain had countless ways to deal with him. Anzhe quickly used the two skills of Lancer and Thunder Dragon, and countless magics fell from the sky, hitting the ground like a meteor shower. Stain's body skills were even more unpredictable. He moved quickly, like a shadow, and all the skills used just now failed to hit Stain. Anzhe was not discouraged, but became more and more courageous. His magic was inexhaustible. Dazzling magic flew down from the sky. Stain felt that it was a waste of time to go on like this, so he wanted to climb up the highest point of the nearby residential building, so that it is easy to attack Anzhe. Anzhe sensed Stain's intentions, but he couldn't stop Stain, because there were still people living in the residential building, and he couldn't hurt them. Anzhe just watched Stain step by step to the top of the residential building, and there was nothing he could do. On the top of the Stain residential building, looking at the whole city, he thinks the scenery here is very beautiful, but now is not the time to look at the scenery. The duel between him and Anzhe has not yet decided the winner. Anzhe used the floor to melt all the top floor tiles into ice, which would greatly reduce Stain's ability to move. Stain may have expected it a long time ago. Anzhe would do this. He was not surprised, but rather calm. He also chanted the spell as fast as Anzhe, and then the sword in his hand would slash at Anzhe with a red light-like sword aura, and Anzhe moved in the sky with huge wings. Puff! Anzhe heard a huge explosion from the side street, as well as some people's screams and an inexplicable roar. Anzhe was very worried about what happened there. But Stain absolutely did not allow him to be distracted. Stain quickly jumped up and took the sword and slashed at Andrew's right arm. Anzhe dodged in a dangerous way. Anzhe AJBF didn't dare to be distracted anymore. He focused on the battle, quickly chanted spells and used magic. Stain may be very dissatisfied. Just now Anzhe was absent-minded, so his attack was more swift and fierce, wanting to quickly to solve the battle, but Anzhe didn't give him a chance. The two sides were at a stalemate, and their attack and defense capabilities were very strong. Anzhe used Thunder Dragon and Fire Dragon magic this time. Fire is mixed with thunder, and the two magics of thunder mixed with fire are combined to produce a huge ability, flying away like Stain. Stain didn't panic because he had seen quite a few heroes, so he had seen this combination skill before. He calmly took out his sword and split the magic. Anzhe now he was a little surprised. He had never seen anyone with the ability to cut magic. But the current situation is not as good as Anzhe thought so much. The two started fighting again. Anzhe quickly used magic, moving in the sky. Stain was not far behind. He jumped up and slashed at Anzhe again and again, but both it didn't work out. After fighting for nearly an hour, Anzhe and Stain were both tired, and the two stopped to rest for a while. I really didn't expect that you have such great energy at such a young age. It seems that you will have a bright future in the future. Stain even praised Anzhe when he was resting. Anzhe was a little embarrassed, and his face turned red, but during this period of embarrassment, Stain attacked again, which caught Anzhe by surprise. Anzhe never thought that since Stain would cheat, he was now at a disadvantage and passive. Stain, since you're cheating on me. Anzhe felt that she was cheated, so she angrily scolded Stain in some atmosphere. Don't you know that daring to relax your focus during battle is a fatal problem, and you actually believe your opponent's words, and your opponent chats, you really have a heart. Stain sneered. 171 The battle is over. Please subscribe. 6 women who are known for their large body parts. More. 807. 202. 269. Because Anzhe lost his mind just now, Stain accidentally cut himself, but it was really only a small cut, but blood still flowed out, and Stain succeeded. Stain stopped on the roof, looking at Anzhe quietly. Anzhe was already in a cold sweat, and he was dripping down, because he didn't know Stain's ability. If so, his body would not be controlled by him. Stain smiled badly, then he slowly poured the blood from the sword to his own mouth, and he went down slowly to lick it. Anzhe suddenly felt that his body began to become very heavy. He could no longer control his wings were closed, and he fell heavily to the ground. Because the height of the residential building is not very high, he didn't fall particularly badly when he fell, but there were still some fractures. Ahem. Anzhe spit out a few mouthfuls of blood after falling down, and then lay motionless on the ground. Stain didn't want Anzhe to die so early, so he came over, but he was still very vigilant. He didn't go directly to Anzhe. He kicked Anzhe. Anzhe didn't move. He was shocked. A little bit bad. Hurry up and check it out. Stain helped Anzhe up. Anzhe opened his eyes at once, and then hit Stain's temple with a stone next to him. Stain didn't expect Anzhe to learn so fast, but Anzhe didn't succeed. Stain suddenly grabbed Anzhe's arm and slapped it so hard that Anzhe's arm was dislocated. Ah! Anzhe screamed violently, and Stain showed a bloodthirsty expression. I didn't expect you to learn very quickly, but do you really think I'm defenseless? I can tell you that I will be very vigilant in any situation. I am afraid that if you attack me like you, then I will lose more than I gain. It's really not good to send your life in vain to people like you. Stain laughed a few times, then kicked Anzhe to the ground. Anzhe didn't know what to do now. Stain raised his sword high, and then stepped on Anzhe's shoulder. Anzhe was in pain, but he still has no way to make a big move now, seeing that Stain's piece is about to be inserted into his head. At this time, Anzhe's forehead suddenly lit up with a white light, and the white light blinded Stain's eyes, and Anzhe was saved. Anzhe's body regained his mobility, and he quickly saw a few while Stain was still blind. The spell raised his own protective wall. Stain rubbed his eyes violently, but all he could see was a white halo. He could only hold his own sword and slash around randomly. Anzhe immediately took advantage of this moment to make a thunder move dragon. Thunder dragon hit Stain heavily. Stain spat out a mouthful of blood, but Stain still refused to admit defeat. He screamed and rushed towards Anzhe, but Anzhe dodged easily. Anzhe used thunder dragon again. Thunder dragon hitting Stain on the back. Stain spit out blood again. It's impossible for you to beat me now. Your eyes are gone, so your chances of winning are almost zero. Are you sure you want to continue fighting? Anzhe looked at Stain, who fell on the ground in front of him determinedly. He gave Stain two options. If he continued to fight, he might be killed, but if he surrendered now, he would be safely sent to the police station. 0. Seeking flowers. Never, never surrender. Stain clenched his teeth tightly. Even though he couldn't see, the belief in his heart could never be betrayed by him, so he had to fight to the last moment, even if he would die. Okay, then I will satisfy you. Anzhe raised his hand high in the air and used the last magic. This magic is very huge. If Stain takes it now, he will definitely die. Originally, Stain didn't want to continue fighting with Anzhe. He also knew that his ability was limited, so he grabbed a handful of soil from the ground and put it on Anzhe's performance. Anzhe quickly closed his eyes, but when it was opened again, Stain had disappeared without a trace. Ran. Anzhe didn't feel regretful, because he felt that Stain's life should not be lost. Stain's ability was very great before. If he can correct his evil ways, he will be a good hero, but thoughts and beliefs are really difficult. Nothing can be done. Anzhe slowly folded his wings and landed on the ground. He clutched his chest and spat out a mouthful of blood, but he still pretended to be fine, walked to MT. Lady, and wrapped MT. Lady in his I went to the police on my back. Mount. Lady was seriously injured and must be treated as soon as possible. It doesn't matter to him. His physical ability is still relatively large. But when Anzhe was walking on the street, he was stunned by what happened before his eyes. 173 The Rating Nomu. Please subscribe. There are flames everywhere in the city, there are explosions everywhere, people are killed everywhere, and there are traces of blood everywhere. And what caused all this is the monster Nomu in front of Anzhe's eyes. He is like a monster without consciousness, only knowing to destroy crazily. Anzhe. The policeman who was on duty saw Anzhe and quickly called Anzhe over. Anzhe handed over the MT. Lady on his back to the policeman, and quickly asked the policeman what happened. Regarding the matter, Anzhe also told the police about the matter of Stain. Anzhe wanted to throw 570 into the battle, but the police stopped Anzhe. The injury is too serious now, and there are many fractures on his body, so he must be treated as soon as possible. Anzhe knows that he must be the same now, but as soon as he sees the people around him suffering from disasters, he can't help but want to go out to help. Heal Hero S came out to help Anzhe quickly treat her broken bones. It was done, but it was necessary to recuperate, but Anzhe refused to listen to Hero S and insisted on joining the battle. In the end, Hero S and the police failed to stop Anzhe, so Anzhe still joined the battle. Anzhe. Endeavor's voice suddenly sounded. Anzhe quickly turned his head to look at Endeavor. Endeavor was his senior, so Anzhe was a little respectful, but he also saw Shoto Todoroki behind Endeavor. Yes, senior. Anzhe now felt some pain in his ribs as long as he stood upright. What's going on with you? You shouldn't have participated in the battle, right? How could you be so seriously injured? Endeavor saw Anzhe's injuries at a glance. It was definitely caused by fighting, and there were quite a few. Reporting to seniors, I met Stain just now, and started a battle with him. His ability is not inferior to mine, so the two of us stood together for a long time, and I suffered a lot of injuries, but this will definitely not affect me. Take part in the next battle. I am very afraid that Endeavor will let him not participate in the battle, so that he will have no way to protect these people, no way to avenge those who died. Do you think you can fight like this now? Endeavor is very serious, and Shoto Todoroki is also worried for Anzhe. To be honest, if it is out of selfishness, he does not want Anzhe to participate in the battle, because Anzhe has suffered such serious injuries. If he fights these monsters again, it will be adding injury to injury can be especially painful. I think I can participate in the battle, and I will definitely not hold back the seniors. Anzhe's eyes were very determined. Endeavor looked at Anzhe for a while, but finally said nothing. Anzhe knew that Endeavor had acquiesced, and he could continue to fight. Anzhe got Endeavor's consent and continued to fight. He used his magic crazily, and although these Nomu can copy other people's abilities, but the copied abilities can't reach 100% of the actual ability, but only 50%, so the power is not strong. When Anzhe first fought Nomu, he didn't feel strenuous, but felt very relaxed. These monsters looked huge, but they weren't that powerful. But just when Anzhe was about to relax his vigilance, a big guy suddenly appeared. This big guy is different from other Nomu. Although he feels clumsy, his power is nearly 10 times that of other Nomu. Anzhe, do you think you can handle him? Endeavor asked Anzhe. Endeavor was actually giving Anzhe a chance. He wanted Anzhe to exercise himself. Senior, I think I can do it. Just help me clean up the little monsters next to me. This big guy is up to me. I will definitely beat him to pieces. There was confidence in Anzhe's eyes. Regardless of the pain in his body, he insisted on competing with this big guy. Quote exclamation mark quote. This Nomu suddenly yelled, and then he hit Anzhe with his very big fist. Anzhe avoided it with a jump, and quickly spread his wings. Nomu Anzhe spread his wings, it learned, and then behind him also there was a huge wing, and now Anzhe was a little surprised. Anzhe has seen that some monsters can copy other people's abilities, but he didn't know that this monster can be copied in many ways, not only his magic but also his wings. Do you think he can win? Shoto Todoroki was a little worried, so he asked Endeavor. Endeavor carefully cleaned up the minions and watched the battle on Anzhe from time to time. He heard Shoto Todoroki's inquiry and answered Shoto Todoroki. Whether he can win or not depends not on me, but on himself. Endeavor replied like this. Shoto Todoroki didn't say anything, but watched Anzhe fight quietly from the sidelines. 174 Defeat Nomu. Please subscribe. Anzhe put himself into the battle with all his heart. He blocked everything around him, including people's screams. He didn't want people's screams to affect his concentration, otherwise he would be distracted. If distracted, it would be deadly. Nomu looked at Anzhe. Anzhe would not attack as long as he didn't attack it, but if Anzhe attacked, then the attack he launched would be exactly the same as Anzhe's, and the power was still higher than what Anzhe launched. Anzhe was a little puzzled. He had never seen anything like this. Even if it was copied and pasted, it was still not the original version. How could it be more powerful than the original version? When Anzhe was still thinking, he thought that Nomu would not attack him, but who knew that Nomu seemed to have his own consciousness suddenly, and started to attack Anzhe crazily, using the same magic that Anzhe used just now. Anzhe dodges quickly, Nomu chases after him, and when he doesn't give Anzhe rest, his attacks are chaotic 09, which makes Anzhe very helpless. Because even in a difficult battle, as long as you figure out the opponent's routine, then winning is a breeze. But if you can't figure out the opponent's routine, and the opponent's ability is still higher than yours, this battle will be close to death, very difficult. Anzhe wants to be with Nomu, but Nomu has been closely following Anzhe. Wherever Anzhe goes, the distance between him and Anzhe is only 2 or 3 meters. Anzhe suddenly became irritable, because he really didn't know how to deal with such a monster. Anzhe spread his wings and flew to the sky, and Nomu also spread his wings to fly to the sky. This way gave Anzhe feeling that he was fighting with himself. Suddenly, Anzhe seemed to think of something. His eyes lit up. Since he seemed to be fighting with himself, it meant that his shortcomings would also be on Nomu, and he could find these shortcomings to attack. Anzhe suddenly had self-confidence again. He recovered his fighting ability. He knew that his body was very painful now. Then Nomu actually copied his body, and his ability, then it means that he thinks he will also be injured the place. Anzhe chose to pick those places that he felt very painful to hit, but he didn't expect that there was a reaction. Nomu started to scream in pain, and then he couldn't move. Now that Anzhe has found a way to win, it will be much easier. He has been attacking those places on his body that are particularly painful, and Nomu is now suppressed by him and has no power to fight back. Almost an hour passed by, Anzhe finally ended the fight, and Nomu was defeated by him. After Anzhe's defeat, Nomu was like an empty shell that had lost its soul, and stood there motionless. Senior, I succeeded. The first thing Anzhe did after winning was to tell Endeavor about his excitement. Endeavor didn't laugh, but praised Anzhe. Although the police knew that Nomu had lost, they still didn't dare to get close to Nomu, for fear that Nomu would suddenly wake up again and start attacking them. Anzhe went to pat Nomu at this time, but there was no response. The police relaxed at this time. They took the iron chains, tied up Nomu and took them away. Heal Hero SMT. Lady, is she okay? Anzhe is still very concerned about MT. Lady in his office, so he immediately found Healing Hero S to ask about MT. Lady's situation after the battle, and Healing Hero S told MT. Lady's situation Anzhe. Fortunately, you went there in time. Mount. Lady didn't suffer too much damage, but there are still a lot of skin injuries on her body, so she needs to rest for a while. During this time, you must not send her on missions anymore, otherwise, if the injury persists repeatedly, she will be permanently disabled. Quote. Healing Hero S asked Anzhe a few words, and Anzhe showed a happy expression after knowing that the heroine Lu of 267 Mountain was fine. However, when Anzhe treated Hero S and heard that he was so inhuman, and let him go on missions when MT. Lady was injured, he felt that his image was severely damaged. Healing Hero S, do you think I am such a person in your mind? How could I do such inhuman things? Oh, don't worry, I will never let MT. Lady go on missions again. Anzhe waved his hand and left to treat Hero S. Anzhe, when it comes to your battle, you are really great. I decided to learn from you. If it were me, let alone such a big guy, I might not even be able to beat such a small guy. Quote. Shoto Todoroki came over to talk with Anzhe. Shoto Todoroki really thought that Anzhe was very good. He was able to defeat such a big guy. It was really amazing. 175 End. Please subscribe. Unveiling Tim Walls. The inspiring story of his family. More. 273. 68. 91. Ha ha ha. I'm far behind your father. If you want to worship me, you might as well worship your father. But no matter who you worship, you must not forget that you have to study hard. Only in this way can you become a successful hero, standing above me and your father. The male lead pretended to be old-fashioned and patted Shoto Todoroki on the shoulder. Shoto Todoroki couldn't laugh or cry. He really didn't know what to say about the male lead. Haha, you will make fun of me. Shoto Todoroki patted the male protagonist on the shoulder. Zu unexpectedly grinned, and then Shoto Todoroki remembered that the male protagonist had already listed the wounds in the battle just now, and now he is probably bleeding. It must be very painful for him to still shoot the male lead like this. Shoto Todoroki felt sorry for the hero, so he wanted to quickly take off the hero's clothes and bandage him up. The male protagonist pushed Shoto Todoroki away, not wanting to be disturbed by Hong, and bandaged himself, and his face turned red. Shoto Todoroki, what do you want to do? You don't want to take my clothes in this situation, do you? There are so many people watching, you are not ashamed and I am ashamed. The male protagonist felt very embarrassed. It was really embarrassing for so many people to watch him change his clothes, and his body was exposed again. Brother, you are a man. I am also a man. What's the matter? You are naked, and I just bandage your arm for you, okay? Otherwise, the blood on your body will get on your clothes. It's very difficult to get it off, and it will only hurt you. Shoto Todoroki has never been so speechless to the male protagonist. He never thought that such a powerful male protagonist would be afraid of showing his flesh. The hero still shook his head strongly. He really didn't want Shoto Todoroki to pull his clothes off, there was no other way, so he pulled the hero into a corner, planning to just bandage the hero in this way. The hero saw that there was no one around. He agreed to Shoto Todoroki and asked Shoto Todoroki to bandage himself, because if Shoto Todoroki didn't help him, he really couldn't reach his back. Shoto Todoroki was very careful when bandaging the male lead, for fear that the male lead would suddenly feel pain, but even if Shoto Todoroki was careful, the male lead would still feel pain when bandaging, because the damage on his body was really serious. It's too big, and the shoes have already stuck to the clothes, and it will be very painful when they are torn off. Oh, can't you be lighter? Can you do it? It hurts too much, okay. You want me to be gentle, can you stop moving around? I can't even get in if you move around like this, and it won't be you who hurts then. It's not that what I want you to do is what you want to do, okay. Why are you putting the blame on me? Stop doing it. Get out. It hurts like hell. It's not finished yet. You let me go out. Endeavor outside the door listened to the conversation inside. His face became darker and darker, and he kicked the door open. He thought what kind of situation was going on inside, but found that Shoto Todoroki was sewing up the male protagonist's wound again. What are you doing? When Endeavor thought of the nasty things he had just thought about, he felt very embarrassed. He coughed twice, and then pretended to be serious and asked the male lead. Shoto Todoroki is stitching my wound because I can't reach the back. The male lead doesn't know why, but Endeavor would barge in with a black face. Could it be that he did something wrong? He asked his precious son to sew his wound, so is Endeavor jealous? Oh, then you can sew. Endeavor hurried out after saying this sentence. The male protagonist didn't know why, but seeing Anne's wow, he always felt that Anne's words had a feeling of running away. The male protagonist looked at Shoto Todoroki helplessly, and then shrugging, Shoto Todoroki also showed a puzzled expression. Shoto Todoroki quickly helped the male protagonist to sew up the wound, and then the male protagonist put on dry clothes. I really didn't expect you to do these things, why did you often bandage your own wounds before? The male protagonist and Shoto Todoroki sat together, and then began to chat. The male protagonist felt that Shoto Todoroki was so proficient in doing these things, and he must have been hurt a lot in the past. Yeah, life was difficult in the past, I was not capable enough, and I always injured myself, Li Wang's, so I naturally learned some medical skills, but it's just superficial, I can only bandage some simple wounds for myself. Shoto Todoroki smiled, he didn't want to mention his past, his childhood. Anzhe also saw the difficulty of Shoto Todoroki, so he didn't continue to ask. The two sat at the door like this, looking outside. Although there was still a sea of fire outside, it was much better than before. Shoto Todoroki, why do you want to be a hero? Just to prove that you are not a waste? Anzhe asked Shoto Todoroki suddenly, and looked at him. 176 The past. Please subscribe. 6 women who are known for their large body parts. More. 357. 89. 119. Why do I want to be a hero? This has to start from my past. 11. Shoto Todoroki suddenly talked about his past affairs. The male protagonist felt that it was not good, and didn't want to continue asking, but Shoto Todoroki talked about it on his own. When Shoto Todoroki was young, Endeavor treated her mother and him very badly. He was always busy outside and had no time to go home. Half of Shoto Todoroki's body flowed with his mother's blood, and the other half flowed with Endeavor's blood, so there are 2 abilities, one is ice and the other is fire, but before he came to Hero Academy, he had never used his fire ability. It's not that he can't use fire, but that he doesn't want to touch fire at all. And it was scary for him. She didn't want to make her mother sad and him sad because of seeing the fire. He hated Endeavor very much at that time. He felt that Endeavor 853 didn't give him a complete childhood life. When Shoto Todoroki said this, the circles of his eyes began to turn red, but the hero didn't know how to comfort others, so he could only stay by his side and listen quietly. I was thinking at that time, I must become a hero stronger than Endeavor, so that he can prove himself and protect his mother, and what I thought at the time was absolutely not using the ability of fire. You can climb to the highest peak with only ice, but I still think highly of myself. I didn't expect that I would use fire in the end. When Shoto Todoroki said this, although there was a little reluctance, he didn't have a lot of resentment, but a little relief. I really didn't expect that you still have such an experience. I believe you will become a stronger hero than Endeavor. By that time, you will be able to protect your mother very well, no need to look at the color of Endeavor anymore, your life can be planned by yourself. After listening to what Shoto Todoroki said, the hero came to such a conclusion and told Shoto Todoroki. The two of them were talking about their energy, when the voices of a few girls came from outside. The voices of these girls were so familiar, the male protagonist looked outside the door, and saw a familiar figure. Yaoyorozu Momo, Ashido Mina, Jiro ring me here. The male protagonist yelled at them violently, and returned my own hands, but just as soon as he moved his arms, he felt very painful. There was no other way, so he had to put them down and stop moving. Anzhe, are you okay? We just saw the scene outside, and we came out because we were a little worried about you. Obviously you told us not to go out, but I couldn't hold back in the end. When Yaoyorozu Momo saw Anzhe, the first thing she did was to admit her mistake. She felt that she was here for an internship, but she didn't follow the arrangement of her professional hero which was a sin. It's okay. It's really okay, so you don't need to blame yourself too much. You are too worried about me, that's why you came out. Anzhe was at a loss when he saw Yaoyorozu Momo like this. He didn't mean to scold Yaoyorozu Momo. Shoto Todoroki, why are you here? Are you here with Endeavor on a mission? Ashido Mina still did not forget to adjust the atmosphere in critical moments. When she saw Shoto Todoroki, she became very lively and active at that moment. How should I put it? Shoto Todoroki is really a very cold person, even in the face of such a lively girl, there is only one word. Shoto Todoroki, how can you be so rude? You can't be so cold when facing girls. The male protagonist patted Shoto Todoroki's arm helplessly. If Shoto Todoroki continues to be so cold, I really don't know if he can find someone he likes, and he won't really be alone all his life, or live with boys. But if he wants to live with a boy, isn't he dangerous? He thinks that Shoto Todoroki talks a lot when he is with her. As soon as the male lead thought of this, he looked at Shoto Todoroki with a strange look, then quickly kept a distance from Shoto Todoroki, and crossed his arms. Anzhe, did you think of something strange again? Shoto Todoroki knew that the hero must have made up something in his mind when he saw the hero's appearance. Shoto Todoroki was a little angry, but it was just pretending to be angry. Ha ha ha, Anzhe, you can still make jokes like this after suffering such a serious injury. You are amazing. Your vitality is so tenacious. What Ashido Mina said, the male protagonist suddenly couldn't laugh. He didn't know if it was a compliment. Or did he look like Xiaoqiang? Then the five people looked at each other for a few moments, and then started laughing. The police outside the door and the surviving people didn't know what they were laughing about. 177 Continue internship. Please subscribe. Selena Gomez posts powerful bikini then and now. More. 724. 181. 241. During this disturbance, everyone returned to their offices after a good rest, and the police outside were helping them deal with the following matters. It's really terrible. I can hear the screams and explosions outside the house. Ashido Mina was still a little scared. This is also your first lesson as hero S. When faced with any unexpected situation, you can't back down, because once you back down, what will those people do? You must sort out your emotions, and then make the right choice. The hostess dragged his arm, and then gave the three girls the first class of their internship. I know, because if we back down, those people will lose confidence and hope, and then we will be defeated. Ashido Mina was so smart for the first time that she finally understood the conversation between us. Started acting like a child. But you shouldn't have come out today. It's so cold outside, and you're not regular professionals. Hero SS skills and experience aren't up to par. If something happens when you come out, how should I explain to your parents? What? Listen to me carefully. If I don't let you come out, you must not come out. The male lead felt that it was necessary to talk about them again. After all, this kind of thing is not a joke. This matter is my fault. I shouldn't stop them and come out with them. I am willing to accept punishment. In Yaoyorozu Momo's heart, as long as he makes a mistake, he must accept punishment. If he does not accept punishment, she also felt a little uneasy. This is not a particularly serious matter. There is no need to get some punishment. You just need to remember not to do it again next time. Yaoyorozu Momo, the actor, is a bit exaggerated. Just wanted to mention one thing, but I didn't expect Yaoyorozu Momo to take it seriously. How is this possible? My parents have taught me since I was a child that if I make a mistake, I must be punished. You should punish me, otherwise I will feel uncomfortable in my heart. The hero Yaoyorozu Momo said that. Brow, how can it be? How about vibrating and punishing her? She did make a mistake. Yaoyorozu Momo, since the male lead has already said that he will not punish you, there is no need for you to get into that corner again. Okay, I feel exhausted tonight, let's go back quickly. In fact, Ashido Mina grabbed Yaoyorozu Momo's arm to save the male lead. I know we have to go home, but even if we want to go home, we have to discuss what the punishment will be. Bye-bye. Momo still didn't give up. Since you insist on punishment, from tomorrow onwards, you will only be entrusted with the daily task of cooking and cleaning the entire office. The male protagonist didn't know how to punish people, so he had to say some simple punishments in his mind. Okay, I will definitely complete the task well. Only then did Yaoyorozu Momo breathe a sigh of relief, with a smile on his face. This topic finally came to an end, the four of them walked together, and finally returned to the office. Everyone was tired all day, ready to take a bath and sleep well. After the male lead took a shower in his room, he simply wrapped himself in a bath towel and came out, holding the towel in his hand to wipe his dripping hair. 0. Seeking flowers. Male lead, the wound on your body should be changed after the water is applied. I don't think you can reach the back, so let me help you apply the medicine. Yaoyorozu Momo didn't even knock on the door this time, and directly he broke in and looked at every part of the male lead's body very carefully. His face changed from calm at the beginning to flushed at the back, and finally he yelled loudly. Ah! Yaoyorozu Momo threw the medicine directly on the male protagonist's body, and quickly covered his eyes with his hands. 0. Don't yell at night. What should I do if I invite other people? I don't want to be unclear. Hearing that Yayorozu Momo started to yell, the male protagonist hurried over and covered her mouth with his hand. Tell her to be quiet. Turn around now, and you will come in after I put on my clothes. The male protagonist is someone who has experienced major events, and he is still a little fearless at this time. He turned Yayorozu Momo's body around, then he pushed her a little bit, pushed her out, and then went back into the room to change his clothes. God, what did I do? Why did I go in without knocking on the door? I knew he had just taken a shower. It was so embarrassing. How would I face him in the future? So annoying. Yayorozu Momo was B***************, his head against the wall outside, thinking that he was so stupid. How could he do such a thing? Okay, come in. The male protagonist was also embarrassed to make a girl wait outside for too long, so he quickly drew the clothes and asked her to come in. 178 Dressing change. Please subscribe. Interesting for you. Selena Gomez posts powerful bikini then and now. More. 845. 211. 282. I'm really sorry just now. It's all because of my carelessness. That's why I broke in and caused us two to be so embarrassed now. I will definitely make it up to you. I'm really sorry. Yayorozu Momo immediately bowed to Anzhe. After entering he bowed, then began to apologize, and smiled awkwardly. It's okay. This kind of thing will happen from time to time. When everyone is careless, you don't need to make up for me. You really don't have to. What's the matter with me? I didn't hear clearly just now. Anzhe quickly helped Yayorozu Momo up, and then changed the subject. Oh, by the way, I know, 437, the medicine on your body must be wet after taking a bath, and you will feel uncomfortable sleeping at night, so I thought of coming here to help you change the medicine, because you don't have back pain hurt. I'm afraid you won't be able to reach it. Yayorozu Momo hurriedly picked up the medicines he threw on the ground, and showed them to Anzhe. So that's the case. Actually, it's not necessary. I'll just bandage it up. I'll trouble you to make a special trip. Anzhe smiled after knowing the reason. She didn't expect Yayorozu Momo to be a rich lady. Very caring about people. How can you simply bandage it? The wound on your body is not small. If you don't hug it well, it may become inflamed and even fester. At that time, you will be the one who hurts. If your arm is rotten somewhere, you can't be a professional hero anymore. Hearing what Anzhe said, Yayorozu Momo immediately put on the appearance of a little teacher, and gave Anzhe some science. If he doesn't bandage well, what will happen to him next? Pain and the consequences. I really didn't think about it that much, but since you've said that, then you can help me bandage it. The girls in Anzhe corner have talked about this. If he continues to refuse, it will hurt. It would make girls unable to come to the stage, so he had no choice but to agree. Anzhe turned around and took off the shirt she had just put on. Yayorozu Momo blushed again after seeing the strong muscles on Anze's body, but this was her own request, no matter how shy she was. Done. My medicine may be different from the one you just changed, because this is some special medicine that my parents brought me when I went out, and it should work better after using it. Yayorozu Momo sat in Anzhe next to Anzhe, and then carefully dipped a little medicine with a cotton swab and applied it to Anzhe. When applying the medicine, he did not forget to briefly introduce himself to these medicines. Hey, so your parents gave it to you, so can I use it? Do you still have enough for yourself? Do you need me to buy some for you later? People like us who make heroes, there will definitely be many injuries on the body, so you must take more medicine like this with you. Anzhe scratched his head in embarrassment. After he used it, what if Yayorozu Momo is gone? No need, I still have a lot. Yayorozu Momo heard that Anzhe wanted to buy medicine for herself, so she immediately rejected the two. You can take things from boys at will. After saying these words, the two fell silent. After taking the medicine, Yayorozu Momo said a simple goodnight, and then backed out. Anzhe also changed into his clothes and went to sleep. My god, I'm almost scared to death, my heart is about to jump out. After Yayorozu Momo walked out of Anze's door, he slapped his chest violently. The heat on his face could not be dissipated. In the end, she staggered slowly and went back to her room to sleep, but looking at her appearance just now, she probably won't be able to sleep well tonight. The next morning, the outside affairs were almost settled, and some professional heroes started to help those who lost their houses to build houses, so the outside was very lively. Morning. Anzhe woke up, went to the living room, and saw Yayorozu Momo woke up early, making rice. Morning. Breakfast will be ready soon, you can rest for a while, and you can eat in a while. Yayorozu Momo saw Anzhe smiled, and then continued to organize the things in his hands. Ah, Yayorozu Momo, what are we eating this morning? I always knew that your cooking skills are good, and this time I can finally feast on my mouth. After seeing Yayorozu Momo cooking, Ashido Mina felt like a gust of wind. 2.2 He quickly ran to the side of Yayorozu Momo, spitting halazi. This morning's meal is very simple, eat some oatmeal bread, and then I warmed the milk for you, made fried eggs and ham. Yayorozu Momo took a small piece of ham and put it in Ashido Mina's mouth. Ashido Mina showed a happy expression immediately after eating. Your craftsmanship really lives up to its reputation. Even a simple ham is delicious in your hands. Ashido Mina took another piece of ham. 179 Internship Countdown. Please subscribe. Is it really so delicious? Then let me taste it too. Seeing how delicious Ashido Mina's food was, Anzhe couldn't bear it any longer, so he walked over and took a piece and put it in his mouth. Wow, it's really good. It's quite delicious. After eating it, Anze's eyes lit up, and he sucked his hand, and began to praise Yayorozu Momo. It's fine if you like it. If you like it, eat more later. Yaoyorozu Momo showed a decent smile. After Jiro Kyoka also woke up, the breakfast officially started, and everyone ate very happily, and the table was full of joy. It's really full, but since Yaoyorozu Momo, you made breakfast 09, then leave the task of washing the dishes to the three of us. Anzhe sat on the chair and rested for a while, then quickly got up and put the food on the table, put the bowls and kitchen utensils in the sink and start washing the dishes. Yes, yes, Ashido Mina jumped up and came to help. After eating breakfast and washing the dishes, everyone was ready to go on patrol. Today is the penultimate day of your internship mission. You must show your best condition to go on patrol, you know. Anzhe gave the three girls a new order before going out. Understood. The sour girls answered in unison. Anzhe showed a satisfied smile, and then led the three girls out, but they didn't rush to patrol, but went to the hospital to visit MT. Lady. Mount. Lady, we came to see you. Do you feel better? Are you still in pain? Stain is so bad, how could he do such a thing? Take our beautiful and tall MT. It's really disgusting for Lady to be beaten like this. If I see him next time, I will definitely vent my anger on you. When Ashido Mina saw MT. Lady lying on the bed, he felt a sense of justice in his heart. The child broke out, clamoring to take revenge on MT. Lady. Ha ha ha. After hearing what Ashido Mina said, MT. Lady laughed out loud, but when she laughed, she felt the scars on her body start to ache. You should recuperate in the hospital these few days, and then return to the office after you recover. Don't overwork yourself. Anzhe felt very distressed seeing his team members like this, so he let it go. MT. Lady is on vacation. I know, I'm like this, I probably won't be able to participate in patrols or battles anymore. I will trouble you to worry a lot these days. I will definitely work harder when I go back. Mount. Lady smiled at Anzhe laugh. The five chatted for a while, and then Anzhe bid farewell to MT. Lady with the three girls and started patrolling again. Anzhe, we all saw your heroic performance yesterday. Is your injury healed? This is our own cured bacon. You can take it back and eat it. You must make up your body. Anzhe said with a smile. The three girls were walking on the street when suddenly a group of people ran out and surrounded Anzhe. This group of people seemed to be people who were rescued by Anzhe yesterday, and now they are all thanking the man with the most precious things in their homes. These are what I should do. I can't take your things. Take them back quickly. You can give these things to the children in your own family, or eat them yourself and the elderly. I really don't need them. I have everything here, very complete. Anzhe was a little embarrassed, but he insisted on not accepting things from the masses. These are our intentions, you just accept them. Yes, yes, just accept it. We only have these, do you think these are too small? Take it. The crowd began to persuade Anzhe to accept it, but Anzhe resolutely refused to accept it, because in his eyes, nothing boring should be accepted. This is his principle. I really can't accept it. If you have to give me something every time after IFKU, doesn't that mean that I want to accept your things, so I only have yours? I don't want to that way, so don't embarrass me, just take everything back. Anzhe's eyes were firm, and it seemed that he had made up his mind. In the end, under Anzhe's insistence, everyone still took back their things, but they thanked Anzhe one by one. The three girls stood by and looked at them, all showing yearning expressions. They also want to become the hero S that everyone yearns for, the hero S that everyone adores like Anzhe. Anzhe, you are so popular, right? You are really amazing. When will I be like you? Ashido Mina clasped his fists, his eyes turned into orangutans, and he adored Anzhe very much. When you graduate and become a professional influencer, I believe that each of you will be better than me. Anzhe encouraged the three girls. 180 confused. Please subscribe. Anzhe was walking on the street with the three girls, and from time to time someone would greet them. There are thieves, help catch the thieves. Just as Anzhe and the three girls were about to return, they suddenly heard someone shouting. Then Anzhe seemed that it was not easy, so he went forward, and the three girls were not to be outdone, and directly followed Anzhe to help Anzhe. As a professional hero, Anzhe is relatively easy to deal with this kind of thief, so it didn't take too much time, and the battle ended quickly. Phew, I still didn't go out in vain today. It was great to have a battle to catch the thief. I feel that I have learned a lot. I hope that we will be different in 3 days. Ashido Mina stretched himself waist. The cooperation between you and me is very good today. It seems that the study these few days has really made you progress very fast. The cooperation between you and me has not been like this before. Anzhe began to praise the three girls. It is obvious to all. Thank you, but I think today's battle is not perfect, and we can shorten the time even more. If you don't add the three of us, Anzhe, you should end the battle soon, or the three of us will delay it for you hind legs. Yaoyorozu Momo's battle analysis is very good, and she has noticed any shortcomings in the battle. In fact, these are not the main group battles and one-person battles. Of course there will be some differences. There is no need to care about the issue of time, as long as you can win the battle. Anzhe helped Yaoyorozu Momo make adjustments. After a day of fighting, the four of them were already very tired, so after returning home, they simply ate dinner, took a shower and went to bed. Anzhe couldn't sleep at night, so she came to the balcony to relax. Hey, why don't you go to bed so late? Anzhe had just arrived at the balcony, but he didn't expect Kyoka to be here. I have something on my mind, and I can't sleep, so I come here to blow some air. Jiro Kyoka didn't panic after seeing Anzhe coming, but didn't care much. I don't have anything on my mind, can you talk to me? I am willing to be a good listener. Anzhe knows that as a professional hero, he must be under a lot of pressure, so he will try to help as much as he can. Bar. I feel that I am very useless except for the two of them. I have doubts about whether I can really become a professional hero. I am now a little afraid that my ability is not enough. When I become a professional hero, will I die soon, and I will not even be able to become a professional hero, and the team together can only hold back the team. Today's battle is also the same. If I didn't fall down, maybe you don't need to save me, but you can end the battle quickly. Quote. Jiro Kyoka paused for a while, but he still spoke out what was in his heart. Anzhe listened quietly, and Anzhe laughed twice. These problems were minor problems, not as serious as he thought. These things you think about are actually small problems, not very serious. Now you feel that you may be worse for the two of them. But have you ever thought that you just haven't realized your potential yet? The ability is quite special, and the cooperation with the two of them is not very good, but when you find a team that can cooperate well with you, the powerful ability in your body will be brought into play. Anzhe tried his best to enlighten Jiro Kyoka. In fact, Jiro Kyoka is very similar to him. Before he became a professional hero, he was also confused. He also felt that he was useless. Why are others always better than him? But he has figured out these last questions by himself. In fact, whether a person can succeed does not depend on his ability, but on his own mentality and whether he is willing to work hard. Everyone's abilities are born with strengths and weaknesses, but if you don't work hard and practice hard, your abilities will also become useless. However, if you work hard and practice hard, get it, no matter how bad your ability is, you will eventually exert your greatest ability. Really? Can I really become very powerful? Jiro Kyoka looked at Anzhe with confusion and doubts in his eyes, but there was still a trace of longing. In her heart, she longs to be strong, to be very powerful. She doesn't want to just be like this, and she doesn't want to always drag others down when fighting with the team. Jiro Kyoka, you can do it, you can definitely do it. Anzhe's voice was full of firmness, and he wanted to tell Jiro Kyoka with his firm tone that she could.